You're with Andy, Luke, and Kitty Marshall, and we're taking drugs.
We are.
Do you want to join us and take some drugs?
The drugs du jour for this lass is a Pixaban, which is an anticoagulant, a blood thinner, and pregabalin, which is technically it's an anticonvulsant, but I use it as a neuropathy med. It helps with nerve issues. My nerves don't work properly.
I just had some ecstasy, acid, LSD, and in a while, if you're watching the next half hour, I should be start to see an effect of that. I've just gotten a link from your Stream Elements bot to say MadCat79 Scott II is now live. If you prefer to watch this on Twitch, you can now do so, as we have been doing every Saturday night for a bit.
Yay!
I wonder, will it let you bring up your Twitch comments on this, or?
It should do. Stream Elements is in the chat, so I should see anyone that chats in my Discord.
We have a message from Red Jester. Hello, GTSY.
Hi, Jester.
I don't know what that means because I'm old, but nice to see you, Jester.
Great to see you. Great to see you.
Oh, this is exciting. It's all coming together. We're on Restream. We've got Katie's cam working. We've got everybody's comments coming in. This is exciting.
It is indeed. Hello, everyone.
Yeah. Oh.
This is going to be fun.
We were just talking before we came on about annoying escaping gerbils and various special drinks. Our love of incel narratives like The Shield and Sons of Anarchy. And
thank you, Jester. I'll get that later. Much appreciated.
Your parking spot.
It is just a bit of fun.
And we were. Yeah, The Walking Dead, which is, as I said to you, is a terrible show that I've watched multiple times.
You're not alone in that, actually.
Oh, that was my little recreation of life aboard the Titanic for the theme of tonight's show. But we'll get there in a bit. We'll just do a bit of a warm up first and sort of get our heads aligned.
Hi, Jacqueline.
Hi, Jacqueline. If you're watching this, I have some people watching this on my Facebook page. I can't read your comments from there, so come over to YouTube or come over to Twitch. I'm just going to. Oh, hold on! I should have a little button that does things like puts like a ticker tape in chat, doesn't it? Where is that? Here we go. Like that. Isn't that cool?
There we go.
Nice.
Whoops.
Yeah. Good on
Still
your
got the Zimmerman. The ticker tape still got Zimmerman telegraph.
Oh, goodness. Tonight we are talking in due time about the Marconi scandal. You probably knew that because you're so brilliant.
Am I? And my hair still isn't looking correct. I don't know.
I think your hair's looking fine.
Some menace this here.
So I got a little cut. And actually, I got the impression the barber actually hadn't finished it when I told him it looked brilliant, and to just sort of leave it. So I usually sort of part my hair in the middle or brush it back, but I was feeling large forehead conscious, So we just did some sort of thing where it brushes over that way, but it's not.
Super.
It's since it was longer. I don't know what happened when I left the barber shop. It was longer than it is now, so it appears to be. Maybe this is what happens. You reach a certain age, and your hair, instead of growing, starts going backwards.
Super hubby goes mental when he goes to the barber. He says no guard.
No
He's
guard.
dumb. No guard basically it makes him look like the jarhead, like makes him look like a marine, essentially. So that you've got different guards that you put on for whatever length of hair you want. He says no guard, just go at it and
Just
basically get rid of the majority of his hair.
Head, sort of, yeah.
So like that's too long for him apparently.
I've got very fussy because I'm 52. I'm blessed with an incredibly good head of hair, and I'm just getting more and more cognizant that it's starting to disappear. There's a bald spot up there now for about 5 years, but you can't see it from the front. You might not know it's there because I think I look fairly young for my age. I look like I'm in my 30s or something. It's that Owen Jones syndrome. It's not a bad syndrome to have.
I'm quite lucky. I don't look my age either. Neither do my sisters and my mum. We're kind of lucky. My mum really doesn't look her age. She's going to be 72 next month. She doesn't look her. Lucky mum. My granny did, but that had to do with the fact that she had 9 kids. Just saying, having lots of children does kind of age you. The mighty streaming rebel?
This is Bryce. Hello, Bryce. Good evening.
Hi, Bryce.
So actually, let's query our audience. So Jester, what was your local protest? And Bryce, did you get out to the Scottish March today? Did you get out to the Scottish March, Amy? Or Amy? Kitty? Who's Kitty? Amy?
I will explain why that name has a connection to me later off stream.
Oh, I know what I mean. I don't think she's here, but that'll be cool.
No, I didn't. I tried. It's the No Kings one. Nice one, Jester. So basically, it's a march against for the large part Trump, because obviously, and the definite fascism leading in the States. What's this? The third or fourth No Kings, Jester? Something like that. So they've been doing oh, you're no subbed, Bryce. No need to give me money or anything, just suffer through the ads. I'm sorry.
There's ad breaks. Okay, so I've never noticed ad breaks on your Twitch stream.
I don't set them up. I don't want to know. I just and most of the chatters who come into my stream, they say if they're not subbed and they say ad break, and I pause whatever I'm doing. Oh. So there's 3 main people who aren't subbed currently this month, and I pause whatever I'm doing so they don't miss anything, or they don't miss the snark, obviously, okay, because you need to hear me.
I've never seen an ad break in your stream, and I haven't always been subbed. Is that because of my ad blocker?
Probably, yeah.
Right.
That ad blocker, whatever one you use, anyone who is listening as well, that won't work on YouTube. It will slow you the fuck down, and it will make your videos stutter because
yeah, I've it disabled.
Alphabet suck.
I've it disabled for when I use YouTube. So I use AdBlock Plus, and that doesn't.
I've completely cut out the middleman. I just pay for YouTube Premium, and it kind of gets sped up. I pay the £12 a month for that. So.
But I never get ads if I'm watching a live stream from Kevin and Helena, which do go on like about 3 hours. I've never gotten an advert in the middle of those. It's only when I'm watching pre-recorded videos. I get them.
The live streams are slightly different. They're not too bad with the ad blocker, but if you're watching like the videos that they've posted onto their channel, you'll get slowed the fuck down. Yeah, it sucks.
So, Bryce is now. Is Bryce going to be out of sync, or does he have to refresh to get back into sync?
No. The ads just come in and go. So I've got a 3-minute ad break at the top of the hour. So after I've streamed an hour, ads will come in again. If you're not subbed, you just have to suffer through 3 minutes. It's the ads that get me. So I'm not currently subbed to two channels that I visit on Twitch, and I just suffer through it because it gets the streamer ad revenue.
Could we like maybe stop mid-send? And then like we're just like 3 minutes and we'll just like pick up sort of.
They get whoever the chatter is, they'll get notified that they'll be going into ads, but I don't set that up for myself. I don't want to do it because I'll just start crying that people in my chat are getting subjected to stupid ads. I don't know.
What products?
But the chat will too, and they can say that they're going into ads, which what usually happens. They say I'm going into ads, and we can stop.
I'd like to recommend some products tonight that you should all be buying. Strongbow, buy the reduced to clear version. That's the best. I'd also like to recommend that you buy baby cigarettes with this lovely little darling here. This new pacifier you have to be over 18 to buy one of those pacifiers, but I'd highly recommend them.
Neither of us can drink Strongbow acid reflux for me, and he doesn't like the acid reflux. Right, it hits my stomach rather badly, like a nuclear weapon going off in my stomach. It's not good. That's why I'm on either Magners or Thatcher's Gold.
I drink very, very irregularly. I pulled this out for two reasons. One, I was thirsty, and two, it's past, I don't know how far past its best before date. So my brother gets access to weird things that past the best before date. This was one. And he gave it to me in November. So it's probably about 6 months old. And it's also been sitting like for about 36 hours.
Oh,
so
nice one, Bryce.
Just gotten a free 1 month sub to Twitch Turbo. Excellent. Happy days.
Cool.
So I'll have a mix of the coffee, the Don Simon, and I may as well polish this off. Yeah.
Cider doesn't go off, it just goes flat.
Yeah. There's no
it'll be flat. Yeah.
It's a bit, yeah. Did you The Walking Dead, entertaining slop, but did you watch any of the spin-offs?
Oh no. Niblet up in Perth, I just need to say to them and they'll record it for me, and I can watch it when I'm up in my mum's. Like, they've done that for a couple of different programs for me that I watch every time that I go up and visit family.
The only one
I've sat in
Fear the Walking Dead. I watched it for about a season, and just when it was getting good, they pulled a whole reboot so that they could write Morgan into it. And I watched the first couple of episodes of that, and it seemed quite good as well, even though they'd taken out a few major characters. But then I just got bored, so I went somewhere else. Shall we? Let's pin a message. Yeah.
Yay. I do not want to see that. I don't want to see that button, Jester. I just, no. I don't want to throw up everything. Ugh. Hopefully that'll happen IRL in hell soon. No violence, anyone. I don't think we need to do that where the president's concerned. He is old, and his diet has been dog shit for years.
Oh. What was the ding dong notification? Was that from your end?
That was from my end, yes. It's just a. Is that my Twitch
That's
board?
somebody new.
That's my Twitch. That's my Twitch. I control my chat through my phone when I go live on Twitch, and I control my YouTube chat through my laptop. So it's easier for me. When I first set it up, when I started streaming, I thought, fuck it, make it easier. Put the Twitch chat on my phone and do the YouTube through the laptop. You moved over to Twitch, Jacqueline. Hello, welcome.
Red Jester's on
Red Jester, Jacqueline, Red Jester.
Okay.
Jacqueline is UK based. Jester is New Mexico? I've forgotten. You're New Mexico, aren't you? Jester. I'm sure you are. It's like Cranky Pants is not Texas. Her wife's from Texas. Arizona. Southern New Mexico. I thought I got that correct. And Raptor Blue, Washington State. So Pacific Coast up. Queen Laura's Oklahoma. I kept on getting you two mixed up. I couldn't remember what one was what, whether you were New Mexico or Oklahoma, or Queen Laura was New Mexico or Oklahoma. Queen Laura's lovely, by the way. We love Queen Laura.
I have this lovely sugary Don Simon lemon and strawberry drink, but you know what I'm going to do in the spirit of gross out is, pour the rest of my stronger one, give it a bit more kick. That way, if the strongbow is a bit weak, the sugary lemon and strawberry will buoy it up a bit. Be a bit like Copperberg.
I was drinking Copperberg the other night there. Copperberg is delightful. It is very sweet.
It is.
Super Hubby can't drink it. It's too sweet. He's not a sweet tooth.
Its alcohol-free version is also gorgeous.
Is it?
Oh, yeah, it's really good.
I've probably tried it, but I just can't remember.
Of the alcohol-free drinks that say alcohol-free on them.
The Swedish know what they're doing. They make really good vodka as well, oddly enough. Well done, Sweden. Brilliant vodka. Round of applause.
Red Jester takes a second show message.
Yes, Ian has a particular compound already show up as well.
On a roll tonight.
I love that reference. That's from a film, by the way, Andy.
All right.
Little Nicky.
Oh, no, not seen it.
Give it a go. It's really fun.
Right. Do you want to get into it? Shall we? Yeah. Okay. So what we're going to do tonight, we're going to talk about the British Marconi scandal of 1912. We've got like a 24-minute video that we're going to line up, and we're going to like pause it an insane number of times and just stretch the whole thing out to 3 hours by like piling in loads of filler. I'll go for a cigarette about halfway through. Yeah, I wonder. So I sent you a link this afternoon that there's a bit of a local connection to all this, because we want to go right back to the start and introduce all the players. So you had the 1890s. I can't pronounce his name. Julio. We'll call him Julio. Julio's a good name. Julio Marconi, who came up with the idea of telegraphy just by sort of like science hobby instinct when he was a kid. And he figured he was on to something. He tried to sell the idea to the Italian government, and they didn't see the point of it. They thought there was nothing in it, fools. So he came over to Britain, but
not the Italian government, methinks.
So you'll have heard Katie talk before about having relatives in Ballycastle in Northern Ireland, where I'm from. Ballycastle is a lovely little, well, it's not so much a seaside, but it is a seaside. There's a port town, and there's a little island just off Ballycastle. It's about 2 or 3 miles offshore. It's the only populated island of Northern Ireland. It's called Rathlin. It's in the shape of a boomerang. Actually, let me just see if. Oh, do you know I had? Hold on. Might have something for you, Katie. No. Yeah, I had in this room for about a week until yesterday. I had my Rathlin Island jacket. It's kind of in the shape of a boomerang. It's a weird, like it's 2 miles at one end and like 5 miles at the other. There's about 150 people on it. It's teensy. So Giulio Marconi's assistant Kemp set up some wireless telegraphy at Ballycastle, and then about 3 miles out on Rathlin, on one of Rathlin's lighthouses, and did some tests. I think that was 1897 or 1898. So yeah, we're kind of starting from there.
I can bring that up.
We might circle back to that later tonight if we've got enough time. And if not, I can put a link in Katie's Discord or my Discord if I remember. Probably Katie's. If you would like onto Katie's Discord, ping us out, and we'll consider your application very carefully. So there's a number of there's maybe about 4 key players in the story of the Marconi. Well, about 4 or 5 key players in the story of the Marconi scandal. And one of the major ones is a guy called Rufus Isaacs. Rufus Isaacs was it seems his early years were quite sort of a bit wild. He ran away from home at 15 to become a cabin boy on a boat. But fast forward to when this story's come around, he's 40. He's practicing at the bar. He's become a top-class London solicitor, legal barrister. He's very serious. He's very sort of puffed up. And about in 1910, the year 2 Liberal elections, he is made the Solicitor General, and then the Attorney General, and becomes the first person in that role to ever sit in the cabinet. So he's a key figure to watch. And also Lloyd George. I don't know. Do you want to talk through where Lloyd George is about sort of 1910, 1912? He's a chancellor.
He's the chancellor, so he when does he become prime minister? He becomes prime minister later on, or he was. So he's the chancellor at this point in time for the British government, and the man is a I want to say shady, but he's worse than that, actually. Come to think of it, the peerage scandal. They really are the epitome of self-interested bastards, essentially, especially him. And he's seen as one of the greats of British politics. I don't know why. So yes, and the man's truly ghoulish, but duplicitous. He was sneaky, and he did a lot of the things were kept from the British voting public, which we didn't have universal suffrage then. I didn't have the vote. Women didn't have the vote at this point, by the way, and you had to have a certain amount of ownership, capital, essentially land, to actually get to vote, which was mostly men. So yeah, the man's not nice.
So the person who is the Chancellor essentially is the full title is Chancellor of the Exchequer. So they are the person with the hands on the money.
Yes.
There's Herbert Samuel, the Postmaster General. I don't know what the Postmaster General does. Maybe oversees the post office stuff.
Yeah, post office and communications for the government, essentially. Civilian parts of it, the actual communication, how things get sent in the country. It still exists, and it is now part of the Exchequer. It got moved in between the wars, so in the 1920s, it got moved into the Exchequer, essentially. But before that, it was a separate cabinet position. It is now as part of the Treasury, essentially. And it's been there forevermore. So I don't know who the current Postmaster General is. Some Labour wanker, probably.
Let's do some due diligence. Who is the Postmaster
That might be a good idea. Like a CFO.
I think we'd know, actually, given the whole post office scandal. So the U.S. Postmaster General is David P. Steiner. The Wikipedia says was a cabinet. The office was
70s, my dear.
The office was abolished in 1969. So that was somebody called John Stonehouse back then. But it did exist from the very, very early 16th century. So going back.
No, there's still a Postmaster General. It's just it's one of the junior minister positions in the Chancellor in the Exchequer. It's just a different role now. Essentially, they do with them maintaining the fiscal connections to different parts of the country, essentially, and still communications to a certain extent. It got changed. That office got ended, and it got moved into the Chancellery.
So yeah, quite probably. It says it was replaced by a Minister of Posts and Telecommunications with reduced powers until 1974. There's no links. There's no Wikipedia page on that. Most regulatory functions have now been delegated to the Secretary of State for Science, Innovation and Technology and the Secretary of State for Business and Trade. So that makes a lot of sense.
That's Kendall. That's Kendall's department now. She used to be Department of Work and Pensions, but in that unnecessary reshuffle because Raina had to resign, had to step down. Kendall got moved out of Caxton House, and she got made that. I don't know where the previous one, who is Peter Kyle, who is a fucking moron.
August Strong coming in with a good strong answer here. Responsibilities formerly held by this role are now handled by private companies. Royal Mail, Post Office London. As of July 2024, the Chief Executive Officer of Post Office Limited is Neil Brocklehurst.
Oh, God.
We're coming for you. There's more of us than there are you. There's a
I
few
know
other
there were
sort of
talkers.
government and corporate figures, but the other big ones are the staff of the Eyewitness. So the Eyewitness was 1912 version of Private Eye, but with a little complication and a little bit of notoriety. So I guess the editor was a guy called Hilaire Belloc, who was a relatively well-known literary figure. One of its key journalists, although not a particularly good journalist, but a well-known writer, was G.K. Chesterton, and his brother, who was a bit more journalist active, Cecil Chesterton. And they will come to be really important figures in the story we're telling tonight.
There you go. Forget about George Bernard Shaw. J.K. Chesterton, an actual socialist.
Yeah. Although not without issues. We'll come on to that later because I sent Katie a big fuck ton of research over to read last week, and she got through it way before I did. And you came out of it really enraged at the government.
I'm a bookish nerd.
And actually, Augustrana was about to refer to Ian Hislop because Belloc would have been in the role Hislop was, but G.K. Chesterton had some level of fame back then, like Hislop does now. So when I read this research, I think the government figures here made some mistakes and were particularly predatory, but the 1912 Private Eye, the Eyewitness, really did not cover itself with glory and honestly seemed to be the more guilty party. But like I've been reconsidering that opinion today, and I don't know. Both sides really covered themselves in crap. So there's the actual sort of the Marconi scandal, and then how the papers of the day were reporting the Marconi scandal being an actual scandal in itself. But we'll get into it. Shall we sort of play the video and like pause it a couple of minutes in and let's see how we go. I'm just gonna hide that in case. Right. Okay. Share screen. Ooh.
Oh my God.
What?
Yay.
Oh, wow. And we're both in set in little screens in the corner. That's nice.
Bryce, thank you.
Oh, yes.
Jester. Iron Gullet.
Yes. Worth mentioning, actually, because we're going out to YouTube and Twitch. If you have an Amazon Prime subscription, you can use that. There's a free token or gaming thing which you can use to subscribe to a Twitch streamer for a month. It's included in your Amazon Prime package. So take your Jeff Bezos tokens. It's worth about $5 to somebody like Katie. Make use of it.
The 333.
333. It's not to be sniffed at.
That's nothing to be sniffed at. No.
You could buy some expired Strongbow for that.
I'd probably be buying expired Magners or Thatchers, or maybe Stella when I'm in my beer mood instead of my cider mood.
Do you know what I learned today about Marconi? So the reason Marconi ended up over in Northern Ireland was because his mother was Anglo-Irish stock, and she was from the Jamesons family of Jameson's whiskey.
My God.
So there we go. Bonus round unlocked.
That's my stepdad's favourite whiskey.
Jameson's.
Yeah. He usually has at least 2 or 3 bottles in the drinks cabinet, in the drinks cupboard in the kitchen.
As I like to do, I'm going to
Ooh,
put
good choice.
the URL in chat of what we are streaming tonight.
It's a really good video, by the way. It's easy. It explains everything out.
Yeah, we're going to watch it right the way through. We're going to add our own insights into the mix. But I'd really like it if at some point, not now, just whenever, you go over and give them a like,
cerveza.
give them a comment. What's that? Cerveza Crystal?
It looked like Copperberg to me. Same sort of bottle, oddly enough.
So
I've never had cerveza.
We start with about a 55-second overview and then another minute 20 on Marconi and the government contract. Let's see how we get on. Just yell pause if you or anybody else wants to add something.
With insider trading,
I'll put my hand
and
up like this
possible
for a
racism,
pause.
this was a British political controversy that occurred in 1912. Allegations were made that highly placed members of the Liberal government under Prime Minister Hugh Asquith had profited by improper use of information about the government's intentions with respect to the British Marconi Company.
Herbert
It
Henry.
was known that the government was about to issue a lucrative contract to the company for what was called the Imperial Wireless Chain, and had bought shares in an American subsidiary. The characters in this scandal were certainly the high and mighty, as well as prominent figures of their time. They included the Chancellor of the Exchequer, Attorney General, and the Chief Whip of the Liberal Party.
All the ingredients for a proper scandal is.
It all started
Yep.
at the dawn of the age of wireless in
Corruption at government level? Never been known.
No, it wouldn't happen. Because governments just like do things for the benefit of the people that they represent.
Really?
So I'm not quite sure what's happening. I mean, people make mistakes, right? But like a government always
They do.
acts in the best interests of the populace and tries to like avoid, because I mean, everyone's going to make a mistake, but you know, you want to minimize those. So, you know, with all that burden of responsibility, you're going to do the best that you possibly can. You're not going to like, you know, do any kind of insider trading or like support racists or put up, you know, just like jack off and Cameo when you could be like researching briefs and yeah.
1895, as an Irish-Italian inventor called Guglielmo Marconi discovers and develops a new communication system called telegraphy. He tries to sell the idea to the Italian government, who, although curious, are not interested. He then decided to try his luck in Great Britain and was able to raise enough capital to form separate Marconi companies in both Britain, the United States, Canada, Argentina, Spain and Russia by 1912.
Well, he bounced back.
But like many tech-based startups, it was full of wonders but no profits. After the initial optimism, its share price was in the doldrums. Hugh Asquith, the Prime Minister of the Liberal government, had been urged by senior members of the military to set up a British Empire chain of wireless telegraphy stations. Herbert Samuel, the Postmaster General, began negotiating with several companies who could provide this service. This included the English Marconi Company, whose managing director was Godfrey Isaacs, the brother of Rupert Isaacs, the Attorney General.
Bum, bum, bum.
I'll just explain something here for a second. The Attorney General is basically the legal spokesperson for the government. So you've got the actual government lawyers who work in the Home Office. you don't necessarily know who these people are. Sometimes they crop up in the news every now and again for reasons. But the Attorney General is the legal expert. You've also got the Justice Secretary now, which is a relatively new invention, essentially. Currently, that office is held by David Lammy. Fun. He is an actual lawyer. He's a Casey. But so the Attorney General basically speaks for legal matters for the government. Trust them if you want to.
So every account I've read of this says that Godfrey Isaacs, as the who sat on the board or was a managing director of American Marconi.
Yeah, that's
was privy to the talks with the British government about them taking over the contract in Britain. We're taking on, because I mean this was the first of its kind. This is 1910, when, but he also Godfrey Isaacs went to his brother Rufus Isaacs and just pretty much offered to sell him shares, sell him thousands of shares. We'll come on to I've got it written down how many there were.
Insider trading.
And Rufus Isaacs, we've also got this information from Herbert Samuel, who was in talks with his brother. Now, to set the scene, Lloyd George didn't really trust the sort of network of Whitehall memorandum and all the officialdoms and the red tape. So he started to cultivate his own little clique around him of people he trusted, and only went to those people. And one of them was Rufus Isaacs, who he worked quite closely to. So, and another was Alexander Murray, Lord Murray of Elibank, who was the Liberal chief whip. So once the Isaacs brothers start sort of talking about selling shares, it goes around this very small group that Lloyd George has gathered.
Yeah. I don't like that. I have issues.
The next little bit goes into a bit more detail on this insider trading.
Yeah.
It was suggested that Lloyd George, Chancellor of the Exchequer...
I don't care if they're the government, it's still insider trading. Don't like it. They should know better, the government.
And Rufus Isaacs had used inside knowledge to buy shares in the American company at a favourable rate. In the following year, a House of Commons Select Committee acquitted both ministers of acting otherwise than in good faith, but the reputations of both men suffered. There was a rumour that David Lloyd George had made £100,000 by buying and selling Surrey Commercial dock shares. Surrey Commercial was one of 3 London dock companies which had been created when the Port of London was being established in 1908.
Yeah, no, I wasn't aware of this, but it has eerie parallels with the Freeport scandal of the last few years, where the government have sold ports rights to certain private individuals at like the cost of like £1 a go.
Not nominal fee, essentially, is what it's called. Is essentially, just have this for fucking free. So the £1 is symbolic, essentially, when they're giving something which is potentially worth billions to their mates. Yeah,
and I know £1 was worth like a hugely different amount of money back in 1912.
It would have been,
it does stick out to me that when Marconi shares were being bought up by Lloyd George and Rufus Isaacs and others that they were going for £2 a go.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. I've got the facts and figures here on that, so we'll get into that in a bit.
Okay.
It was under a scheme prepared by Lloyd George, but enacted by his successor at the Board of Trade, Winston Churchill. At the time, Lloyd George was Chancellor of the Exchequer. United Wireless, one of Marconi's rivals in America, went unexpectedly bankrupt, and as a result, some of its directors went to prison.
Oh, here, I just took this little thing, a rhyme. George moves in a mysterious way, his little sums to make. Loose logic lacks arithmetic, contribute to the fake. Oh, Lloyd George. Lloyd George.
Godfrey Isaacs was told to go to the USA and try to buy up the assets of United Wireless. The trip was a success, and on his return to London, he was recompensed with 100,000 shares in Marconi America. Godfrey Isaacs was on the board of the Marconi Wireless Telegraph Company of America that controlled the company operating in London. Isaacs had been given responsibility for selling 50,000 shares in the company to English investors before they became available to the general public. When Godfrey returned from his trip to America, he had lunch with his two brothers, Harry and the Attorney General, Rufus. Despite being offered shares in Marconi America, Rufus was initially reluctant to take up his brother's kind offer. He realised that the proposed deal was not in itself illegal, but was against parliamentary rules. He advised his brother, Rufus Isaac, to buy 10,000 of these shares at £2 apiece. But as we all know, greed has a strange effect on one's behaviour.
I just want to, I've got a few facts I want to pull up about in this sort of build up to kind of where we are at the moment, about 1910. I mean, the Marconi signals had already, oh yeah, actually, there's a few wee Easter eggs. We were looking at Bottomley, Monty Gregory a few weeks ago, and Whitaker Wright, and a fraudster named E.T. Hooley, Ernest Terra Hooley.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you remember him?
Yeah, I remember.
Rufus Isaacs successfully defended him in court.
He did indeed.
From after one of his charges. There was the Marconi wireless things were already being rolled out on ships by this stage, by the time this came up. Oh, actually, and Whitaker Wright. Remember the well? How can you forget the Whitaker Wright case? But Rufus Isaacs was the prosecutor on that case. So Whitaker Wright was the built the Bakerloo and Waterloo, Baker Street and Waterloo line. He had an underwater billiards room, loads of.
He was the Rufus was the prosecutor.
He was the prosecutor. He spent 2 days summing up, and as a result, Whitaker was found guilty to 7 years of penal servitude. But then he went into the back room and swallowed a whole cyanide of potassium. He also had a 6-chamber revolver on him, just in case that didn't work out.
Bit grim.
There was Frank Castle-Fro-West, who I love because he's got the same name as a Punisher. He was in charge of a case to bring in a murderer called, was it Dr. Crippen? Or let's see. Yeah, So yeah, Frank Castle Froest, who worked on the Jack the Ripper cases. When Jabez Balfour, the one-man Enron, fled to Argentina, Inspector Froest went over to Argentina, wouldn't wait for extradition orders, grabbed Jabez, bundled him on a train and hauled him over his shoulder back to London for trial. Froest was in charge of the hunt for Dr. Crippen, and his second was an officer called Walter Dew. And there was Dr. Crippen had fled England, and he was on a transatlantic liner to Quebec. The captain got word he was on. He used wireless to signal Scotland Yard to tell them Crippen was aboard. Walter Dew went out on a White Star liner. The same people that made the Titanic.
Same one that done the Titanic.
Which was fine when it left Belfast docks. And Dew boarded the boat and hauled Crippen back to Britain. Yeah. So that was kind of a big sort of case at this point when wireless had come in, like really, really useful. I will just, where are we on this? Yeah. I think that's all. That's about all I had to say at this point.
Oh, Jester, I'm sorry you had to experience Wide Woody. She is a particular type of ghoul. She's a fundamentalist Catholic. I'm glad she's out of politics, even though she crops up every now and again. Just fucking end me. Go away, Anne. You're annoying. Just fuck off. You know who Anne Widdicombe is, don't you, Andy?
Oh, rather didn't.
Same here.
A few more Easter eggs. We're talking about tight circles and how Lloyd George kept a tight circle. So did Rufus Isaacs. Members of that circle, two in particular, were F.E. Smith, who was Lord Birkenhead, who popped up quite a number of times in the Monty Gregory story. Monty Gregory, later Lloyd George's honours broker, and he liked to gamble heavily with Lord Birkenhead. They'd play each other cards for yachts and castles and, well, sizable estates, real nonsense stuff. The other was Edward Carson, who, of course, prosecuted Oscar Wilde, was a hero to the Orange Men of Northern Ireland and still is. And so I'd like to read what Edward Carson thought and said publicly of the Orange Men. He stated that their speeches reminded him of the unrolling of a mummy, all old bones and rotten rags. I like to rule that out. Met with a DUP sectarian. Okay, but yeah, back to the Marconi scandal. That was quite a few tangents. Oh, I'm just gonna check in a chat. Okay, I wonder. Yeah, let's just suspend this for a minute.
Thank you, Scribby. Praise be the resident philosopher.
What's this button do? Oh. Sorry, I've just discovered a new button and I've enabled something and I don't know what it does. Okay. The Colours Hall in Sheffield, England houses a magnificent 49 bulb crystal and ormolu electrolyre, originally from the first class lounge of the RMS Olympic, sister ship to the Titanic. Purchased in 1936, this massive lighting fixture hangs in the hall's silver vestibule and is a key feature of the building's historic interior. There we go.
Yes, Andy's Northern Ireland or Ulster if you're a certain type of people. It's Ireland to me.
Remind me at the end to pitch my specific Northern Ireland feature that's coming up.
No problem.
Yeah,
I'll
we'll
remind
roll
you.
on with this because I kind of need pulled back in from my tangents.
He agreed to buy 10,000 shares and offered some to two of his close friends, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, David Lloyd George, and the Chief Whip, Alexander Murray, who each received 1,000 shares at the same price. Bear in mind that the unofficial price of Marconi American shares was £2. They would only have to pay 1/10 of the asking price up front, with the final settlement of the remainder at a later date.
Oh,
Whilst
can I pause you a
Marconi
second,
America
Andy?
had nothing to do with the political scene.
I'll just explain to I've only got the one American in chat just now. Jester, the Chief Whip, is basically the enforcement. He's there to encourage the backbenchers of the government, whoever they may be, to follow the party line. So you've got there's a 3-line whip. There's no whip. Vote your conscience if they have one. 1-line whip. The government or the party encourage you to vote this way. Number 2, it is advised you do this. Or number 3, do it or else. Most of the major ones, especially the benefit reforms and ones connected to Brexit when Bojo was Prime Minister, they were 3-line whips, and people have been booted from the government whip, which means they're no longer part of the party, and they usually get booted out of the party as well for not following government like the government line, which sucks. So he basically enforced whatever the Liberal Party wanted, whatever legislation they were doing. Most of the whips back then were usually just 2-line whip. They didn't force people to do it because they're all gentlemen, they're all brilliant people standing in the community and all that sort of bollocks. So most of them usually voted with the government or the party anyway. It's only in the modern era that the 3-line whip has been used a lot more. Sort of since her. The 3-line whip has been used as a cudgel for the backbenches. Sometimes it doesn't work though. Because some of these people are actually human. Obviously, the government just now, they aren't human. They're monsters and ghouls and demons. They're horrible bastards. And they've been using the 3-line whip more and more often. So that's how that came about. Basically, the Chief Whip is basically the enforcement arm of the government. So you've got government whips and you've got party whips, and you've got the leader of the Commons, which is basically there to enforce the government line, even though some of them don't know what the fuck they're doing. Some of them might not have known what they were doing when they were whips anyway back then. So there's the Chief Whip, and they usually have 5 or 6, it depends, junior whips. I don't like the whip system. You shouldn't need to do that. No, I shouldn't. Thank you, Andy.
Oh, wow, okay. I have new restream powers. This is cool. Right, quick recap. So we're about 6 months from the sale of American Marconi shares. Now, this distinction is really important. Going ahead, British government are in talks with the British Marconi.
Yeah.
But it's the American Marconi shares that are going on sale that Godfrey Isaacs was responsible for the placement of 500,000 of these. So he suggested his brothers Rufus and Harry take some. He invites them to buy blocks of stock. Harry bought 56,000. Rufus didn't like the idea, but a few days later he bought 10,000 from his brother Harry at £2 each. And they were at a price far below what economists would have predicted that they would go for.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Getting them on the cheap, essentially.
Let's watch a few moments because we are coming up on a plot twist. Let's see, how do I? There we go.
Date.
There we go.
Whilst Marconi America had nothing to do with the political scene in Great Britain, Marconi UK was heavily involved with the British establishment, something that the new shareholders knew full well. On the 18th of April 1912, Murray also bought 2,000 shares for the Liberal Party. These shares were not available on the British stock market. On the 19th of April, the first day that the shares in the Marconi Company of America were available in London, the shares opened at £3.
I just want to check in on the timeline here, because although the Isaacs brothers were buying, they were buying on the 9th of April. We just heard what happened on the 17th, 18th of April. So the Isaacs brothers got theirs on the 9th of April, but on the 14th of April, we had the Titanic disaster. So, I mean, this video will go on to talk about it, but just in terms of, in interest of getting the continuity straight, because of wireless telegraphy, basically, they knew the Titanic was going down, and it led to helping save 712 people. It was well known the wireless telegraphy had played that role in saving people that allowed the SOS to go out. And as a result, Marconi shares started to rise in value.
They did indeed.
3 days after that, still 6 weeks before American shares have gone on the market, and while the British are negotiating with Marconi still, 1,000 shares go out from the Isaacs to Lloyd George, 1,000 to the Liberal Chief Whip, the Master of Ella Bank, who also bought a stack. So he bought a stack for himself, but also used Liberal Party funds to buy a stack of Marconi shares for the Liberal Party, hoping that they could flip them and that money would go back into the Liberal Party coffers.
Yeah.
So that's about 2,000 sold at £2 each, and about 8,000 left for Rufus Isaacs, is that? Or, I don't know. So 1,000 to Lloyd George, 1,000 to Alexander Murray, Master of Ella Bank, 50,000 to Harry Isaacs, and 10,000 from Rufus Isaacs.
Damn, I can't remember. Who's in opposition?
The Tories.
Is it the Tories that are in opposition, right?
Yeah. The Tories don't really feature. They feature a little bit in this story, but we'll get up. We'll get there, I guess. Yeah.
And ended the day at £4. The reason for this was the news heard that Samuel, the Postman General, was the English Marconi Company to provide a telex system for the British Empire. Rufus Isaacs now sold all of his shares for a profit of £20,000, whereas his fellow government ministers, Lloyd George and Alexander Murray, sold half their shares and therefore got the other half for free. Lloyd George then used this money to buy another 1,500 shares in the company. Cecil Chesterton and authors G.K. Chesterton and Hilaire Belloc were involved in a new magazine called The Eyewitness. It was later pointed out that the object of the publication was to make the
Andy.
English public know about the perils of political corruption.
That's GK in the middle, isn't it?
Yep.
The rather rotund gentleman.
Yes, there's a few stories about his weight.
No fat shaming anyone. I use rotund delicately. Yes,
I'm
chunky.
I'm fat, so I'm allowed to do it. His girth gave rise to a famous anecdote. During World War I, a lady in London asked why he wasn't out at the front. He replied, "If you go round to the side, you will see that I am."
Oh, I like that. That's fun.
Yeah, that's a good one. On another occasion, he remarked to his friend George Bernard Shaw, "To look at you, anyone would think there was a famine in England." Shaw retorted, "To look at you, anyone would think you caused it."
George Bernard Shaw, you cheeky bastard. Oh,
That
God,
shame,
yeah, he was
1912 star. I'm just going to give it. There we go. Look at that. Big is beautiful. So for my next full body reveal, I'd be going shirtless, challenging Lee Anderson to a fight.
You'd win.
I would. Yeah, I wouldn't even need to do it for charity. I'd just knock him out for the good of all mankind.
Yeah. He's probably going to lose a seat at the next general election anyway. Bye, Lee.
Ashfield, yeah. What are they?
Ashfield, thinking? Yeah, Nottinghamshire. He is damn close to where Helena lives. He wants to see the independence
isn't he? I always feel sorry for him.
He's moved party 2 times, or technically Labour, Tory, then Reform. So Helmendham, he's probably going to lose, with any luck, he'll lose his seat. And with any luck, Manfrog will lose his, which will be fun. Clacton, please, I beg of you, get rid of that bastard, would you? Thanks. I would even say,
I want to thank,
if you want, just get rid of Manfrog.
I want to thank people posting in chat. There's some really good chat tonight, mostly coming from the Katie's Twitch. Really good stuff. Why don't I have such a great YouTube community as this? Is that a true story about Taft? About had a special bathtub installed in the White House and it had to be lifted in by crane? That's
correct. Yeah. That's true. I've checked that. Yeah, Jester's mentioned this before a while ago in my chat and another streamer's chat as well. Yeah, that is correct. Taft wasn't a good president, by the way. There's been worse, don't get me wrong. Has there been better? Describe it better to me in presidential terms. Just, I don't know if that's possible. Taft was hefty. He was indeed. Yeah.
Could you give me 10, 20 seconds? No, a minute. Give us a full minute. I'm going to use the loo.
You're going to lose both of us. Sorry, everyone. We will be back.
Right, let's take a commercial break then.
Yes.
Yeah, let's take a. I know. Let me facilitate this first, Katie. There we go. All right, maybe.
There we go.
Hi, I'm Don Draper. You may remember me from such features as Sigmund, I'm attracted to my mother. So while we wait on Mrs. Katie Marshall to return, I'm just going to have a little sneaky smoke at the window. Yeah, there's some really, and maybe get reading a few of these messages in chat because there's some really good stuff coming in tonight. We are broadcasting from Restream. I sprung for a premium package this month, which is about 17 quid. But what it has allowed is for me and Katie to integrate our stream, so I can read everything posted on Twitch in here, as well as my own YouTube. I can't actually comment to Twitch, as far as I know, unless you see. Well, let's see. If I try posting all this gobbledygook, and somebody in Twitch can tell me if they see that. But I can put messages up on the screen, which is nice. Oh, orchestrand, bruising and hardened veins. Oh, that doesn't sound very pleasant. Oh, sorry. Unfortunately, I'm quite a heavy smoker, so no gobbledygook so far. I'll just have to share it with you then. There we go. So that's about as much as I can do is kind of share messages on screen. Do I hear Katie Marshall back? I do. She returneth. While we're on the ad break, I'm going to put in my ad for
return.
Rejoice, Katie Marshall is in chat. We're going next Saturday. Katie and I are going to have to, over the next 6 weeks, we're going to have to maybe miss a Saturday night, and we'll have a non-Victorian Villainy Saturday night, a light night, because next weekend you get a double dose of me. My popular magazine show, Screen Cleaner, returns. I've been in the edit room, the recording room already for the last 4 or 5 days, trying to put together the first one. It's going to mean an awful lot of work going forward. We've already recorded something with Katie. I want to record another thing with Katie, which I will talk to you about. I really should talk to you about quite soon, actually. So maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. Cool.
So, yeah. Jacqueline is smoking a roll up. That's cool. I usually smoke.
Would you like to know who's on award-winning journalism? We have it.
No, Katie. No, I don't care. No. Go on, put us out of our misery. Kill us softly.
Sorry, everyone. We've got Bridget Phillipson, the Education Secretary. Fun. So that's the representative from the government. We have someone called Kenneth Badgerbobs. I don't know who that is.
Kenneth
Badgerbobs. We have Zia Yusuf.
Who?
We have Zia Yusuf as well.
Oh, fucking. That's
And
Reform one.
that's Reform. He is
Yeah.
the Home Affairs spokesperson. So basically, he's basing himself as like the shadow version of Shabana Mahmood.
Okay, listen. I
They're not
usually know if I'm being racist or not, right? But is it racist if I say Zia Yusuf is a black man who looks like he's wearing blackface?
Yeah, you can't say that. I don't like him. He's just
He's
a
a
wanker.
horrible person. Horrible.
He's quite intelligent, and he's using that for evil.
Yeah. Oh no,
I'm fairly intelligent, and I don't use it for evil. And we've got a lawyer called Jay Edelson. I don't know who that is.
That's why we're not millionaires, Katie. We're too nice. We're too nice.
We're too nice. We're too nice. Yeah. Why are they bringing Kemi on? It's fucking stupid. She's going to be deplorable.
Do you know what? So, if you subscribe to me on Patreon and Katie on Twitch, we promise we'll spend a whole show slagging off Quakers.
I can't do that. One of Kev's main mods is a Quaker.
Quakers are. I've read a bit about Quakers, and they seem like lovely people. It's a lovely ethos.
They are very lovely people. They are very lovely.
We should get back to the main feature then. Do we
have bombs? Oh, you fixed the lurk command. Thank you, my dear. Rejoice.
Hello,
the main mod is lurk. The main mod is lurk. Yeah, the main mod is lurking in the void. Watch out for the tardigrades, Shanna. Say hello to Shanna, everyone. Hello, my dear.
Hi, Shanna. Welcome. Good to hear from you again.
She has full control now. I've upgraded her. Have fun, my dear.
So we've
what the fuck?
What the fuck? What?
I don't like fat shaming, but that is a fat bastard.
Who? Chesterton?
Look at Jess. Well, yeah, no. The Jester's comment.
Let's put it on screen so I can read it bigger.
I need to check something. What's that in stones?
Yeah, do, because I put 20 stone on my medical records and I didn't actually weigh myself, so I don't know if I am 20 stone. Oh, thank you, Scrippy. Yeah, I think it being historical gives us a bit of distance from it. Yeah, whereas like even the best educators on modern stuff, because it's so just happening and it's hurting.
Stone to 20. Between 20 and 23 stone. That.
Oh right.
That is big.
I couldn't be that big, really.
You can't be. No.
That's a really interesting point by Jacqueline. If he borrowed money from the Liberal Party funds to buy those shares, wasn't that embezzlement? So, I mean,
it could, yeah.
His argument to that would have been, well, the money that I made from them was going back into Liberal Party funds. But spoiler warning. So what happens over the course of this story is initially they get they do quite well on sales of these Marconi shares, but they keep, because they've done so well and made so much money, they keep buying more, and the Marconi share value drops. And by the time they get around to selling those shares, they actually made an overall loss rather than a profit. So the villains, get their just desserts financially, but that would lead credence to what Jacqueline says. That is embezzlement. If there's a loss that then can't be repaid, unless they repay out of pocket.
I can only talk to the Scottish legal system, separate legal system. For anyone who doesn't know, the Scottish legal system is separate from England and Wales, by the way. Ours is the older version, so ours is better, and the English took ours and corrupted it. But going on Scottish law, no matter if there's a loss or a gain, if you've borrowed money from something that you're not meant to, be it a political party, a charity, whatever, that is still embezzlement, whether you get a gain or not. So technically, Jacqueline, yes, it could be described as embezzlement. That's a legal finding that needs to be put to court. It needs to go through the legal process, but I would call it embezzlement. Whether you gain money or not. So, naughty Liberal Party.
I'm going to see if we can leave Jacqueline's comment on screen for a while, because there's another little twist to that question. So, run VTL.
I would assume it's the same down in England. For the way I described that, I would assume it's mostly the same down in England. I would assume.
To relate that Lloyd George had been dealing on the stock exchange heavily to his advantage with private political information. In 1908, Marconi met Godfrey Isaac, an experienced man who eventually became the CEO of Marconi. He was the brother of the then current Attorney General Sir Rufus Isaacs, a highly successful barrister. The brothers Isaacs were well-known Jewish figures, and this connection should be borne in mind when recalling this account. There had been talk for years about a chain of wireless stations connecting the major parts of the British Empire. As early as 1906, Marconi had approached the Colonial Office about such a scheme, but to no effect. A number of parliamentary committees had been appointed to look into the plan, but the idea just drifted on. But everything was to change in 1912, with the sinking of the Titanic. The signing of a key contract with the Post Office happened just after the accident. The ship's sinking was proving to be an international sensation, with major inquiries for wireless telegraphy in America by the US Senate, as well as the British Board of Trade, all due to the part it played in the rescue of the passengers and crew. It had certainly been a night to remember for the White Star Line.
And actually, just as a little aside, it's not really part of the story we are looking at, but sort of relevant, adjacent. The Titanic, the inquiry into what happened with the Titanic and whether it could have been prevented. So it put the board of White Star, the company.
Yeah.
It put the board under scrutiny, and representing the board was Rufus Isaacs in a legal capacity. So that's an interesting, he's in proximity to this, as well as in his connection with the Marconi shares.
Do you think the disaster could have been avoided, Andy? I'm not sure. Still tragedy, obviously, what happened, but could it have been prevented, do we think?
There weren't enough life rafts was the main damnation finding of the inquiry. I don't know.
More philosophical question, really, isn't it?
Yeah, if there had been enough life rafts, certainly the numbers dead could have been reduced seriously.
Mm-hmm.
There was this sort of, it was always pimped as the unsinkable, that it was there was too much confidence in the marketing and the industry. it was that whole sort of pride before a fall, or Icarus flying too close to the sun
The sun,
kind of thing.
yeah.
Human ego just getting kind of getting knocked out.
Yeah.
So yeah, sad story.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
I'm so yeah, a tragedy in human life, but I also can't
Yes,
help
Omaha.
thinking of sort of tangential things, like many of those that died were like relatively moneyed. It was mostly, apart from the staff on board, it was relatively moneyed people.
It was, yeah.
And as somebody from born in Belfast, spent most of his life living in Belfast, I've seen how much Northern Irish tourism rides on it being the place that built the Titanic. There's a glorification about the Titanic coming from Northern Ireland, that if you
Yeah.
come into any of our tourist traps here, you go on any of our tours, they'll be about the Titanic. And frankly, I find it a bit sick.
It is ghoulish,
I
isn't
think
it?
I think it's really macabre.
Yeah.
I think it's a, well, I mean, I don't see an awful lot of selling points about Northern Ireland, but that's just me being flippant. I think the Titanic should never really be one of those. Kit Harington, who played Jon Snow in Game of Thrones, which a lot of Game of Thrones was shot here in Northern Ireland in
It
its busy
was, yeah.
spots, maybe about half of it, including the Paint Hall, which is a virtual studio environment, as well as natural locations. Kit Harington got into trouble on a talk show about 2011 or so. This went viral for a bit, but
I can't remember this.
The video was, but it has since been scrubbed from the internet. Kit was asked,
The
what do you think
way
of my
Back Machine works, you can go into Internet Archive and it'll still be there.
Maybe if there's a search engine within Internet Archive beyond its own.
There is. I've
But
used
I
it.
find it really hard. So basically, what Kit said on this talk show was, Northern Ireland's tourist industry is so bloody depressing. They always go on about this great ship from like 100 years ago. That's their main selling point, and it sunk. And it was like a flippant comment. It was a bit funny, but
Yeah.
and some people saw it for what it was, found it amusing, found it a justifiable sarcastic swipe at the Northern Irish tourist board. But a lot of people lost their shit over it. A lot of people were like, "Oh, he shouldn't have said that. That was horrible. How dare he?" And poor Kit was forced to sort of come out and apologize for saying it.
Oh dear.
I think I might have met Kit Harington, actually. He's quite a nice fella. And he certainly meant it in a very sort of
so fucking jealous of you. You've met Jon Snow.
I met Jon Snow, yeah. I told this story on a previous stream. So because I like it, yeah. So there was a fan group built around George R. R. Martin in advance of Game of Thrones ending up on HBO. And at the time, I had a very big comic book project. I'd won award funding for it. It went all around Northern Ireland. And I happened to know be good friends with one of the organizers of this event, TitanCon, which was about 50% Game of Thrones convention, 50% Northern Ireland sci-fi arts culture convention. So he invited me along as a guest. And it was only Game of Thrones had run its first season. So I think Kit Harington might have been there. The kids who played Bran, Sansa, and Anya. I think Sansa actually is from Bangor, which is just where my parents live. It's about 4 miles down the road from me. So I was on stage with Jon Snow, Bran, Sansa, Anya, Hodor, who is Christian Nairn, who's a local disc jockey, and maybe a few other, possibly one or two other Game of Thrones stars. The woman who played the Stark mother, absolutely gorgeous looking woman.
Oh God, I've forgotten her name. Yeah,
and who disappeared in the Red Wedding. Caitlin, was that the character's name?
Yeah,
she's gorgeous.
Caitlin, yeah. Caitlin Stark.
I love that sort of older Southern woman. Yeah. Oh, knees weak. So I got to stand on stage with all of them in a like an opening ceremony, a closing ceremony. No idea who they were.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
I think I might have talked to at least. I certainly talked to Hodor, Christian Nairn, maybe one of the kids the first year. Yeah, and they were like, you know, you go back and watch Game of Thrones series 1, and they really are kids. You know, you don't have Arya going around like an assassin. You don't have Sansa as a young tortured woman. They are kids, and they were running about the stage like kids do, and like ducking and chasing one another, and yeah, that was really what it was.
I have to hate you now.
And look, if you go and do a search for my comic about epilepsy on Katie's Discord, you will find it. And also, which I'm now put on YouTube chat. I noticed the website was down for it. It has just gone back up. So, yeah. So bookmark that and have a read at a later date. Yeah, cool. Okay, I'll rest my voice for a bit.
The ship's builders, Holland and Wolff in Belfast. The Titanic was using Marconi wireless equipment to try and rescue the survivors. The government was very conscious of the danger to the British merchant marine fleet. It needed to show that something worked on the stricken liner, and hence the need to demonstrate a British product that actually did its job. At sea level, the human eye can only see up to 30 miles on a clear day. At the time, with wireless telegraphy and Morse code, you could communicate around 300 miles or more, even up to a couple of thousand miles with the right atmospheric conditions. This was between another ship or to land. Marconi sold his earlier systems to lighthouses and ships, which could not access the cable network, and yet had most need of rapid communication. By the time of Titanic's maiden voyage in 1912, most passenger ships operating in the North Atlantic had a Marconi installation staffed by Marconi company operators who could send between 10 and 12 words a minute. As well as communicating with other ships and they also relayed passengers' messages. Titanic was fitted out with some of the best wireless equipment available, but there was not yet an established practice of keeping a clear channel for emergencies. The channels were open to everyone at the same time, and consequently wireless operators were transmitting over the same frequency as other ships, and the channels were jammed with passenger communications. On most ships there was only a single wireless operator, who worked a long shift and then closed down for the night. The International Radio-Telegraphic Convention, which came into force in 1908, had agreed on SOS, 3 dots, 3 dashes, 3 dots, in Morse code. It was the international distress signal, but CQD, the Marconi company's distress signal, was still widely used. Soon after the disaster, it was agreed that passenger ships had to set a permanent 24-hour radio watch, use the same wavelength to transmit signals, and maintain radio silence at regular intervals to listen for distress calls. Marconi was already established as a celebrity, synonymous with the wireless itself, but the rescue of passengers and crew from the Titanic conferred heroic status on him and his invention. The story garnered publicity for wireless technology, that cemented the commercial success of his company.
Yeah, yeah, that's right, Omaha. So yeah, big Julian Marconi, and I think I mean the video is about to go into talking about the British Board of Trade still considering Marconi for the contract. And I think what happened with the Titanic probably cemented Marconi as the best choice for the contract.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, the scandal regarding stocks and shares would overlap with those considerations and would kind of interfere with that deal, which I guess is the real scandal. I'll let the story go on and tell itself a bit.
The price of all shares in the Marconi Group from Russia to the United States rose spectacularly. Hugh Asquith, the Prime Minister at the time.
I just went and checked, like SOS, Save Our Souls, most very well known. CQD means all stations distress, or basically it means come quick, danger. Basically, help us. I couldn't quite remember what CQD stood for, so that's just to clarify for anyone who didn't know what CQD meant. I knew it was the alternative to SOS. I just couldn't remember what it stood for.
This video, Katie sent me it over. I've watched it twice today. It talks a little bit about Herbert Henry Asquith, the Prime Minister at the time. And it does kind of glide over his role in it.
It does, yes.
Asquith was not pleased with his ministers. He was protecting them. He was giving them a free pass where he could, but privately he was enraged. He had half a mind to throw Lloyd George and Rufus Isaacs out altogether.
Booted.
Never did.
Get right. Forgot. He should have. He should have.
Sure there was I'm sure that, well, you can never tell this sort of Victorian, Edwardian, polite high society, but
they're all friends.
Believe that he went a bit sort of Malcolm Tucker on them. He lost his head and chewed them out. That's an entirely plausible scene.
Well, if you'd done that, you should have just booted them then.
Yeah, absolutely. His concern was very much how it looked. So
he didn't want it reflecting badly on government. Who'd have thought it?
Right. So he will set up an inquiry into this share scandal. But we know how government nepotism is. You're probably going to guess how this inquiry ends, right? Take answers in chat, or don't bother because you already know the answer. And
didn't bother.
Instead. Yeah. And everybody lived happily ever after.
If only.
Had been urged by senior members of the military to set up a British Empire chain of wireless telegraphy. Herbert Samuel began negotiating with several companies who could provide this service. This included the English Marconi Company, whose managing director was Godfrey Isaacs, the brother of Rufus Isaacs. On the 19th of July, 1912, Herbert Samuel announced that a contract had been agreed with the English Marconi Company. Whereas the rest of the mainstream media ignored the story, over the next few weeks the Eyewitness magazine produced a series of articles on the subject. It suggested that Rufus Isaacs made £160,000 out of the deal. It was also claimed that David Lloyd George, Godfrey Isaacs, Alexander Murray and Herbert Samuel had profited by buying shares based on knowledge of the government's contract. The defenders of the three men accused the magazine of anti-Semitism, pointing out that three of the men named were Jewish. It was a gift to them that the attorney and his brother had the name of Isaacs, and the added bonus that the Postmaster General, who had negotiated the contract, was called Samuel.
Now, I wanted to grab a word on this, and this is where it gets a bit problematic for me, because while the eyewitness, GK and Cecil Chesterton and Hilaire Belloc, literary minds all, they were doing the investigative journalism thing. The fly in the ointment is a rather big blue bottle, because Hilaire Belloc, the editor, was actually an anti-Semite. It was on record. It coloured a lot of his investigative journalism, and it came up in this case where it shouldn't have. Where they should have just nailed these fuckers' heads to the door. You throw anti-Semitism in the mix, and that becomes problematic. And this isn't the sort of the made-up anti-Semitism that anybody's claiming in defense of Israel's genocide, or Zach Polanski is an anti-Semite. This is actual, or most Labour members are anti-Semite. This is actual genuine anti-Semitism. Cecil Chesterton was an anti-Semite as well, not in the same way Belloc was. Belloc was an intellectual. Cecil Chesterton, his anti-Semitism was more born out of ignorance and othering. He didn't really know what he was talking about. And as far as I've been able to ascertain, G.K. Chesterton was also an anti-Semite and a bit more educated, intelligent man who should have known better. Now, feel free to correct me if you think otherwise.
Yes.
G.K. Chesterton, I don't really know his writing, but it seems to be that way.
I've read a couple of his stuff back in the day. It never came across in his writing, from what I've read anyway.
Actually,
a lot of people were anti-Semites back then anyway.
Yeah,
it was more prevalent. It's kind of frowned upon now. Don't get me wrong, there's still anti-Semites here. Yeah, across the globe, if you wish. Yeah. But back then there was a lot more, and it was a lot more prevalent and a lot more talked about, especially in the upper echelons of British society. Even though there was Jewish members of Parliament and stuff.
Yeah, I'm just noticing I've got a few notes on this actually. So in 1913, there were 17 Jewish MPs, so disproportionate to the population, and attention was called to this as Jew power. Attacks on Jews equaled attacks on the system. There were, if we think back to 1920s Germany, and if you've ever toured a history of Judaism, of the Jewish people, I attended a Warsaw Museum History of Jews, which give a really sort of long-term focus to anti-Semitism, and it's both casual and brutal forms. Let's see. So, I don't know if I want to read that out.
Jacqueline, some yes, some no. Some was born out of ignorance. Essentially, they just didn't look into it really. They just inherited them from those around them, either family members or friends or other social circles they were part of. But some of them were Sly Loris, hello, welcome.
Hi, Sly.
Some of them were the Zionists. Some of them were. Trust me on that one. Later, you will find out later on. I was thinking of doing a stream. I was going to talk to Andy about it, about the Balfour Declaration and the funding of a certain ethno-state, if you wish. We could maybe do that if you want to. No pressure, of course, Andy.
That I think that's going to take me a bit of extra time to research.
No problem.
I've done it before, but I'm still really hazy on what happened. I've managed to get some stuff in my notes on the whole the Chestertons and the Jewish thing. So I'm just going to kind of read from those.
Carry on, yes.
Chesterton wasn't a straightforward anti-Semite. There's complications. So in the New Jerusalem, G.K. Chesterton made it clear that he believed that there was a Jewish problem in Europe, in the sense that he believed that Jewish culture, not Jewish ethnicity, separated itself from the nationalities of Europe. He suggested the formation of a Jewish homeland as a solution, and was later invited to Palestine by Jewish Zionists who saw him as an ally in their cause. So, do you want to say anything about that, Katie?
Oh dear,
it's complex.
It is. We're skirting around the TOS kind of just a lot. So I'll try to protect my stream as much as I can. But yes, there was a lot of people, the upper echelons of British society, who did believe this, that there was a Jewish problem, and wanted to move all the Jews who lived in Europe to a homeland, not necessarily at this point in the Levant, but in somewhere else, just not in proper Europe, not like Western Europe, essentially, like here in parts like France, Spain, Italy. So they wanted to move the Jewish contingent of the populations in Europe to a different area of the globe. Problematic. For more than that, check out Herzog. So he wanted to do this as well. He he wasn't necessarily bothered whether it be in Levant and other parts of Europe, parts of what would later become the USSR, or in other places, maybe in Africa, somewhere around the Horn of Africa, and that sort of area. It doesn't necessarily need to be. There was even ideas of putting them in South America, but the committed Zionists, especially then in the late 19 teens and the early 1920s, put their eyes on where they originally thought was their homeland, which was Levant, like Palestine, the Sinai places, that area there. That starts to grow around about this time.
I mean, going in, I thought G.K. Chesterton might have been an anti-Semite in the term of, well, what an anti-Semite is, but it seems like he more was an anti-Semite in the way Netanyahu is an anti-Semite, or your casual Zionist is. What's up, Katie? So happy.
We've been raided.
Have we been raided? Oh, cool.
Helena's raided.
Oh wow. Big time Premier League. Woo-hoo.
Thank you, Helena. Everyone, go and follow Nerdgeist.
Go and follow Nerdgeist. MTG.
Praise be. Thank you, Helena. Much appreciation.
Oh, that's so cool. That's made my night.
Werewolf. I'll shout werewolf and hopefully she'll appear. Darling, could you go and set a shout out for Nerdgeist? I forgot to do that. I done Kev and I done Raptor. I forgot to do Helena.
do they have to refresh or anything like that, or how does it
They've rated me on YouTube, not Twitch. So Helena only does Twitch for question time coverage because YouTube copyright cucking and all that sort of nonsense.
Oh, I didn't know you were on YouTube tonight as well. Even better.
Oh, thanks, Jester.
Oh, fun.
There we go. Everyone, go and follow No Justice MTG. She is based. Praise be. Thanks, Jester.
The other thing about so we're just talking about Eyewitness, which was the private eye of 1912 that uncovered the corruption around the selling of Marconi shares. Off the back of the Titanic disaster to Lloyd George and Attorney General Rufus Isaac. So the Eyewitness was also populated by journalists that had anti-Semitic stuff. So that is like a big blue bottle in the ointment. So just reading this bit off my notes pertaining to that. Chesterton and Belloc faced accusations of anti-Semitism during their lifetimes, and subsequently their criticisms of the international Jewish banking families are some of the most important reasons for these accusations. For example, Chesterton, Belloc, and Chesterton's brother Cecil were vehement critics of the Isaacs, who were involved in the Marconi scandal, yada, yada, yada. George Orwell accused Chesterton of being guilty of endless tirades against Jews, which he thrust into stories and essays upon the flimsiest pretexts. So, yeah, worth mentioning, Orwell. I will give a bit of a play on this, unless there's anything you want to add on that bit, Katie?
Say again?
I'll play this on a bit, unless there's anything you wanted to add.
No, I'm good. Yeah, carry on. Yeah.
Asquith called a meeting with the accused men and discussed the possibility of legal action against the magazine, but advised eventually against this as it could stir up unwanted publicity. Alexander Murray resigned from the House of Commons on the 7th of August 1912. Later that week he was raised to the peerage as Baron Murray of Ely. Officially, he left Parliament because he needed to rehabilitate his estates, which his father had made over to him. Soon afterwards, the liberal industrialist Wheatman Pearson sent him on a business trip to Bogota in Colombia.
And that's why I brought back Jacqueline's comment from earlier. So this is a man that took Liberal Party fund money to buy these Marconi shares that then lost money. So he might well have embezzled his party and done a runner.
Oh, no, I'm saying they did.
He was out of politics altogether. The heat of the Marconi scandal just got too much for him. He left the country, didn't look back.
Bye.
Oh, yeah. So very apt comment, Jacqueline.
Yeah.
A debate on the Marconi contract took place on the 11th of October.
Sorry, Kitty?
Be sure your sins will find you out.
Yeah.
Industrialist Wheatman Pearson sent him on a business trip to Bogota in Colombia. A debate on the Marconi contract took place on the 11th of October 1912. Herbert Samuel explained that Marconi was the company best qualified to do the job, and several Conservative MPs made speeches where they agreed with the government over this issue. The only dissenting voice was George Lansbury, the Labour MP, who argued that there had been scandalous gambling in Marconi's shares. Normally, government contract were put out to but in the case of the supply of a wireless chain to the British Empire, there was only one bidder. The Post Office experts declared that only the Marconi UK system was capable of transmitting such messages over long distances reliably. As you can imagine, this annoyed Marconi's competitors. The contractor was the post office, and it was run by Herbert Samuel, who was Jewish. Conspiracy theorists had a field day, as they were able to concoct a story involving not just insider trading, but of securing government contracts by a sinister group of Jewish interests. As is normal in these circumstances, the story was initially ignored by the mainstream media, and only picked up by minorities.
That would be classed as outright anti-Semitism today. Well, it should have been classed as anti-Semitism back then anyway. But yes, I would class that as actual anti-Semitism and conspiracy theory. These people are fucking ghoulish.
Yeah, the problem is that it does kind of fully go into conspiracy theory in the negative definition. So, I mean, this video will should clarify it, but if I have it correctly, Herbert Samuel, who was a Postmaster General who set up the British deal with Marconi, or was having the talks with Marconi, it didn't actually come to a deal. He was one of the accused of profiting off of the sale of Marconi shares, but was completely innocent of any charges brought by the eyewitness or the inquiry. I don't know if he actually had any shares. I'm sure he was, a Liberal 1912 minister. I'm sure he was a perfectly horrible person, but
more than likely
completely outside of any sort of level of guilt where it came to the Marconi scandal.
Yeah.
So it didn't help that the Chestertons and Belloc were anti-Semites, because the real issue here was not that they were Jewish, but making tons of money through dodgy means. Not illegal, but certainly against parliamentary principles and guidelines, and certainly immoral. The bit that really gets me, Katie, is the link with the Titanic disaster, because they're literally profiting off the dead.
They were, yeah. Monstrous. Delightful.
Yeah.
You have to remember, everyone, it's a different code of conduct now. There's the ministerial code, which didn't really exist back then. They were seen as chaps, good gentlemen of high standing and all that other bollocks. The ministerial code that we know that our ministers live by now didn't come into decades later. And Erskine may kind of existed, but it wasn't really enforced, which is basically the parliamentary standards, what you're meant to be doing when you're an MP or a cabinet member. So the ministerial code is a relatively new convention that we use. Not that they fucking follow it, of course. They're all still ghoulish bastards. So they're seen as high standing, that they wouldn't do these sort of shady dealings. Of course, they're here for the public good, to make the country better and all that. Yeah, the citation needed for that one, thanks. These people are horrible. They don't work in the best interest of the country. Oddly enough, they haven't really done that for the last 150, well, the last 200 years, really. Self-interested bastards, a lot of them, I say. Kind of annex leanings, really, for that one. But yes.
I see all the No Justice Raiders in chat. Hello, I'm Andree Luke.
They're amazing people.
It's so nice to see you, my friends and friends to be. I am Andree Luke at Andree Luke. Katie Marshall, you probably know, as Numpty Woman and Mad Cat Coach. Saturday nights we do mainly Victorian villainy. Tonight we are talking about the Marconi scandal and reacting to a 24-minute video over a space of 3 hours.
Yes.
We're in the last hour. Yeah. So some deep governmental links have just been rumbled.
Journals.
Oh my, I love that. Lefty conspiracy theory tends towards Cassandra territory. Well, I've said this before. Most people on the left, especially people like myself, Andy, No Justice, Kev, we're all Cassandra. We all keep on saying, yes, this is what they're doing, this is what they're like. We don't get believed. Then we get proven correct and we get shouted down for being student politics and all that fucking bollocks. Yeah, I don't like being Cassandra. Don't get me wrong, she's a fascinating character from mythology, but no, I don't want to be Cassandra. Just fucking listen to me. Will I be? Probably not.
I guess are these people the Chestertons and Bellocks, are they tankies, Katie?
They could be described as tankies, I guess. They are kind of on the left for back at, during that time. They were the self-prescribed socialists, especially J.K. Chesterton. We don't know about George Bernard Shaw. He kept on swithering. He kept on being indecisive. In certain ways, he was a leftist, kind of going on the social convention back in the 1910s and 20s and stuff. He would have been described as a socialist, kind of. He never said one way or another because he's a swithering bastard.
Hello, Davinia Robbins. Welcome.
Davinia is awesome. Well done, my dear. She won £80 on the lottery tonight. Well done, darling. Waste it. Waste the money.
Well done. Okay, patreon.com/Andy Luke.
Yes.
Right.
Two themes emerged from what could be described as a conspiracy theory. The first was that Godfrey Isaacs had influenced his brother, Rufus, to sway the government to offer the wireless chain to Marconi. The second was that a group of government ministers had formed a Jewish conspiracy to manipulate Marconi's shares on inside information. The first to write about it was W.R. Lawson, formerly editor of the Financial Times, and writing about the Empire wireless chain across the British Empire, the publication called Outlook. The following quote gives a flavour of doubts about the business practices of Marconi. The Marconi Company has from its birth been a child of darkness. Yeah. Its relations with certain ministers have not always been purely official or political. If its business affairs are not official or political, then what are they? If we return to the atmosphere of pre-1914 politics, we see a distaste of foreigners, and particularly Jewish ones. Two other publications wrote articles on this matter. The first was Le Matin, which mentions Lloyd George, Rufus Isaac and Herbert Samuels. The latter had nothing to do with the share-buying scandal, and the paper was forced to make an apology after government ministers took a stand. Their barristers were major players in the unionist movement, and their use was to prevent them embarrassing the government over Ireland. The second...
the Martin are a slightly bigger part of the story than the video lets on.
Yes, they are.
I can't remember exactly. It was a French magazine. The Martin got the story from the eyewitness, the Bellocks and Chestertons. Printed it. When they were challenged, they backed down. They printed a full apology in the paper. Went to lengths to recant. And that wasn't enough for one of the Isaacs who pressed the issue, took them to court. I mean, the Martin completely backed down, wanted to settle out of court, wanted to give them anything they wanted to make the problem go away. But that wasn't enough for these Marconi share buying fucks. That Le Martin were found guilty opened up a legal precedent for the Isaacs then taking the Chestertons to court on criminal charges. So yeah, roll on to that. It's about to come on to the Chestertons in a bit more detail.
Was more interesting. Eyewitness was a private eye of its day.
Oh,
It was founded by Hilaire Belloc and G.K. Chesterton. Editor was Cecil
I
Chesterton.
watched that as well,
He
Omaha.
viewed life through.
sorry, I can't. It seems I can't big the window while the video's running. There we go.
There we go.
Ireland. The second was more interesting. Eyewitness was a private eye of its day. It was founded by Hilaire Belloc and G.K. Chesterton. The then editor was Cecil Chesterton. He viewed life through Roman Catholic eyes and was certainly anti-Semitic. Given that three of the protagonists, Rufus and Godfrey Isaacs and Herbert Samuel, were Jewish, you can guess the journal's editorial stand. Its August edition was the first one to mention the phrase Marconi scandal. Cecil Chesterton was openly stating that they had uncovered a Jewish conspiracy to rig the tender for the
You're not
Empire's
wrong,
large
Jacqueline.
chain with just
You're
one
not wrong.
supplier, and presumably overpriced.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just highlighted Doc Davies' comment, which is spiders teleport into houses.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Spiders are evil and they can fuck off. Hello, arachnophobe here, by the way, everyone. Spiders can fuck off.
They're just little cute fuzzy things.
No, they're not. They're evil. They're eight-legged and they can go away from me. Yeah.
Jacqueline, seems like the events leading up to the First World War could have come as a bit of a distraction. Yeah, so, I mean, jumping a bit ahead in the narrative, but we're kind of all over the place anyway. So let's continue. Let's continue the tone, be consistent. Yes, the Marconi scandal and the fallout of that really damaged Britain's relationship with Marconi. Britain had an advantage as a member of the empire with America and America's Marconi thing, and with Italy knocking Marconi back, Britain had a chance to be a world leader in radio telegraphy.
Yes.
The Marconi scandal damaged that.
A fair bit.
Even though the ministers responsible were completely exonerated, it really damaged that. And the deals we were going to get were kind of knocked back. And then the First World War came upon us, and it was kind of a bit of a moot point because at that point we needed Marconi and what they had to offer.
Yeah, we did.
So the scandal dominated British news for about a year, and then low key for a couple of years. But once the Great War hit, that just kind of got swept away. So absolutely, Jackie, you're a fire of the night.
Unlike the Le Matin affair, the ministers did not act, but Godfrey Isaacs sued Cecil Chesterton for criminal libel. Eyewitness, like many publications of its type, got most of the story right. But to use the old hackneyed phrase, over-egged the pudding. Hence the trip to court. People generally may have this rather naive belief that provided you tell the truth, you cannot be done for libel. The key point is not the truth, but whether you are besmirching the defendant's position with regard to those of so-called right-thinking people. To make matters worse, Cecil faced the prospect.
I'll just expand on this a little bit. The libel laws here in the UK are some of the most open. If it gets published or broadcast or otherwise disseminated, you can actually challenge people here in our more liberal-leaning courts in this respect only, kind of. So If it gets published here, said, and you defame someone, whether you've actually said the truth, it's up to you to prove it, not for the person who gets pissed off with what you've said or printed or published. It's been like that for a while. It is mental. This is the libel capital. London is the libel capital of the fucking planet. Lots of people get sued here in British courts for libel or slander. So libel's printed and slander is said. So me defaming someone on my stream, I could be done for slander. Or if I print it, if I publish it on Twitch or YouTube, that would be considered libel, which is printed or released publication. So me speaking on my live stream, I could possibly get done for slander if I slander someone. And it would be up to me to prove that what I said is actually accurate, considering that person or that organisation or this government. And well, it's different around either cabinet members or members of parliament. They can't get done. If they say something in the chamber, they're not legally actionable. You can't actually go for them, whatever they say in the House of Commons or the Lords.
Parliamentary privilege.
Parliamentary privilege does exist.
Yeah.
It's dog shit most of the time. What they say in the chamber is just nonsense or evil or otherwise idiotic.
I'm making an odd face. You can't see it because my window's minimized, but like how far, what I'm thinking is how far could you get away with parliamentary privilege? Like obviously
no,
there's rules
they're
on, like, calling, you can't
completely
call somebody a
no,
piece
they're
of dog
completely
shit.
covered. No, they're completely covered. They can see whatever the fuck they want.
Right. So
Honestly,
if I'm an MP, but no, there's rules about protocol, so I can't go in as an MP
they're meant to be
Lee
nice
Anderson
and
fucks canines.
yeah.
But I could maybe hint that he does if it's relevant.
You can hint at it, but you have to remember the speaker still does exist, and whatever you say, you can actually get booted from the chamber for the day for the rest of parliamentary business. That's the only recourse that actually happens because that's his playpen. He is the referee.
What if I say Lee Anderson French kisses Labradors? Just like lightly, it's a bit more flirtatious.
If you're an MP and you say that in the House of Commons, you're fine. You can say that he doesn't have a recourse, and you've still got you can still be booted from the chamber though. But if it's done in jest and referencing what sort of legislation they want to promote, you can say that.
Davinia is asking if there's a delay on the line. It might be. I think Katie's on YouTube and Twitch tonight. I'm on YouTube and Facebook. So there'll be a little delay somewhere.
There'll be a little bit of a delay on my YouTube end, Davinia. The Twitch one runs mostly decently. The YouTube one is a little bit janky, just a little bit. So the delay will be on the YouTube end. If you want to maybe move over to Twitch, is not as bad over on Twitch. There's still a little, like a half a second delay. It's like a 2 or 3 second delay on YouTube for reasons. Ask Alphabet.
I kind of need to use a loo for about a man's 1 minute wee.
No problem. Yeah.
Yeah, we can do it in rotation. Yeah, I feel bad running out on Katie's Helena's Raiders. It's a big time for me. It's like playing at Glastonbury and then having to nip off stage.
He didn't get booted for that, John. Praise be, John the Brazen. Thank you for posting that in the Discord earlier on, by the way. Awesome. Fucking amazing. Nice one. For any voters for the council in Bradford, vote for John. He is good. He'll be an amazing councillor. Yes. How are things looking on the ground, John? Feel free to post in the Discord, by the way. I keep on meaning to set up a canvassing one or the mutual aid or things of that nature. So feel free to post in the Discord about anything you are doing, especially now that we're getting damn close. And you're more than well Glastonbury tomorrow. Nice one, Doc. Nice one.
What
Anyone who
happens?
wants to post anything wherever you are, if you've got council elections, or if you're up here in Scotland for Holyrood, or if you're in Wales, Cromie, can you hear me? Post in the Discord about anything that's happening election-wise. Your lass will be posting a lot more. Be built up. I'll be talking to my other Scottish Green Party members, and I'll be posting in the Discord as well for the Holyrood elections, obviously. And I will be covering it. I will be trying to end myself doing a live stream for all the constituency vote results. Pray for me.
While I've got this enhanced audience, from next week, this next Saturday, I'll be on a double bill with Katie. But earlier, about 8 o'clock, I'll be doing Screen Cleaner, my magazine show, which is essentially just ripping off Charlie Brooker's various wipe series. So appearing on that, I have done an interview with Arkev, Mr. Logan. Katie Marshall will be popping up. Random Scottish History. David McGuinness, the two Dillies. Hopefully Dilly Blase. Yeah, Dilly Blase actually is down. We'll be doing stuff doing a Scotland episode. We'll be doing, you hear a Northern Irish accent there. So I'm going to do a Northern Irish show because we have the anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement coming up.
This is going to be good.
So just 6 episodes, all pre-recorded, very funny, very entertaining, and not just politics stuff, a mix of like various stuff. So like a little feature on Malcolm in the Middle, Babylon 5. I have a feature on hate preachers in Belfast, on things
Ian Paisley Senior
students could do. And just for you, my very special Katie Marshall and No Justice audience, I might have made a few prank phone calls this week to various members of a far-right populist party. Tune in next week to find out more.
Will do.
At Andrew Luke
Can't wait. Nice one. Keep me updated. And obviously you can post in the Discord as well.
Cool. Right. So we go back to the Marconi scandal. I think there's a little bit here on the Hilaire Belloc and the Chesterton brothers, and then it goes into the inquiry into the Marconi scandal, the selling of shares to politicians.
I remember
To
that,
jail
Jacqueline,
time.
yeah.
In the end, Godfrey won his case, and Cecil was ordered to pay £100. This was paid by his supporters, and the next edition kept up its attack on government ministers.
Just to pipe in briefly, one of we've already talked about the problematic stuff of the anti-Semitism, but kind of what made it worse was that it wasn't casual. It wasn't. Private Eye exposing something might run a series of a few stories on it. It's very rare that they would do like a full-on campaign. With the post office scandal, they were hammering away at that for years. But
yeah,
when Belloc and the Chestertons went at this Marconi scandal, they really dug in, and they had loads of warnings.
Oh no, yeah, they went hard.
GK warned his brother, who took over editing the magazine from Hilaire Belloc, look, just sort of leave it, back away, and Cecil just really dug in. So it's I don't altogether feel sympathetic towards them.
Oh, I don't at all. Most of these people were ghoulish.
Yeah, it's hard looking at this because the the people that we want to be heroes in all of this are actually quite villainous themselves.
They are, yeah.
And,
Is it
and
too
the
much to
villains
ask?
aren't completely clear cut. I mean, they didn't break any laws by doing this.
No.
We'll get in. This gets into the nuances of where they didn't lie, but they didn't tell. They weren't particularly clear with the truth either. Lloyd George
A
and
lie or an obfuscation of the truth is still a lie. You might not have lied, but you had what the truth actually was, or what was actually happening, for either self-interest or publication, the better readership, all that stuff. So yeah, I consider them the same, either a lie, an outright lie, or an obfuscation, basically hiding the truth. I put them in the same sort of bracket, the same sort of bucket, essentially. Yeah, you're still not telling the full truth to the British public. I don't like that. Is it too much to ask for decent politicians?
I want to try and pick up on a few chats, because the chat quality tonight, even before Helena's raid, has just been really good. Scribby writes, I found out the above. Oh, that's in relation to the naming. Somebody was going to name some MPs with. Oh no, I don't know what it relates to. Bill Barger was going to name MPs with Russian connections, and Robert J. QC from the Levis inquiry intervened and stopped him.
Oh, yeah. The Leveson inquiry, that was one of the main reasons that the Tory scumbags dropped it. They should have done Leveson too. And if Corbyn had won in 2017, he would have instituted Leveson too and done a full look into like the media of the UK, but that didn't happen. The Tories dropped it. I wonder why. So we should have had Leveson 2. I'm still wanting Leveson 2 to happen. It probably won't. I don't see this fucking government doing it. And if Reform get in charge at the next general election, they definitely don't want to do this. So at this point, we're not going to have any sort of decent media at all. No, like especially like print media, newspapers, online publications, things of that nature. They won't. None of them want to do Leveson 2. Which will be a full investigation into our print media and stuff and our online media.
Just because I can't type like I've got fingers and shit, and I'm actually a brilliant typer, but because most of my chat, I don't know if anybody from my chat's actually here. But Omaha, if you could drop me a message later about stiff little fingers, or DM, or tag me in a message, I want to follow something up with you. Back to the filth, back to the sleaze.
Following gradual outrage from the public, press and parliamentary opposition, Prime Minister Asquith eventually set up a committee that would assess the allegations of insider dealings. During the investigation, Isaacs, Murray and Lloyd George acknowledged their purchasing of the shares in the Marconi Company of America. However, they also demanded that neither one had invested in a company which was directly contracted by the government. In the meantime, was enjoying its summer recess. In the next session, a committee was formed to investigate these accusations. Given the situation of a hung parliament, the committee had 6 Liberals, including the chair, Spicer, 2 Irish nationalists and 1 Labour MP, which provided a majority over 6 Conservatives. The committee took evidence from witnesses for the next 6 months, which caused the government a great deal of embarrassment. During the House of Commons investigation, the 3 accused Liberal MPs admitted that they had purchased shares in the Marconi Company of America. However, as David Lloyd George pointed out, he had held no shares in any company which did business with the government, and that he had never made improper use of official information. On the initial debate on the scandal, Rufus Isaacs spoke on behalf of Lloyd George and Alexander Murray as follows. Never from the beginning have I had one single transaction with the shares in that company. He also mentioned that the others were in the same position, but no mention of which company. As long as you have the backing of the Prime Minister and the party, you are safe, as it was to prove here. The Prime Minister in a June debate on the scandal completely exonerated his colleagues. What made this situation slightly more difficult for the majority on the committee was the behaviour of Alexander Murray. He had recently resigned as Chief Whip for health reasons and had been elevated to the House of Lords. Murray was unable to appear before the Marconi inquiry because he was still in Bogota on an extended trip to South America and did not arrive back into the UK until early 1914. During his absence, it was revealed that he had purchased additional shares for the Liberal Party. It was revealed that Murray had not only purchased 2,500 shares in the American Marconi Company, but had invested £9,000 in the company on behalf of the Liberals. Percy Illingworth, the new Chief Whip, denied knowledge of these shares. Asquith was also aware of these share dealings, and this explains why he was so keen to cover up the story. But a key point was whether Rufus Isaac and Lloyd George had misled Parliament. During the inquiry, Isaacs testified that he had bought shares in American Marconi and sold some on to Lloyd George and Lord Murray. It was not made public during the trial that these shares had been made available through Isaac's brother at a favourable price.
Omaha, if you just mention it to me next time I'm in Katie's Twitch stream, might even be later on tonight, or on the Discord, just drop me a tag. Here we see Jacqueline's comment come around again. So what is worth mentioning, if it's not already apparent, is that all through this scandal, when Asquith gathered Lloyd George and Rufus Isaacs together behind the scenes and asked them, have you been getting shares from Marconi on the cheap before the contract announced? They said, no, we've not been getting the English shares that are part of a government contract that's yet to be announced or that's in discussion. When they were asked in the Commons the same question, no, we're not buying British Marconi shares. When they were asked by the papers, no, we're nothing to do with that company. And they were right, but obfuscation, the distinction was the shares that they bought were part of American Marconi, not British Marconi. So they were using the letter of the language to defeat the spirit of the language. Is that have I put that correctly?
They were using the language of the statute or the legislation, but not the spirit. They were following it by the letter, which is a separate distinction from actually following the spirit of the law, of the legislation. Essentially, that's their get out. They can do that. Lots of government ministers still do that to this very day. They can interpret it whatever way they want, especially with what comes out of the select committees as well. Yeah,
everybody knew the question that was being asked of them. They just chose not to answer it, which is still a practice.
They basically they either said no comment for what it was worth, or they deliberately obfuscated. They hid what the truth was, or they hid what their real intentions was, or what they really thought about what the legislation or the law or what was actually happening. Our politicians are dog shit, by the way, everyone. It's fun, isn't it? How do we change these people?
Execution? Oh, I'll say that under parliamentary privilege.
Yeah.
I'll take the fifth, or whatever the fifth is.
Rejoice, comrades. Your glasses haven't to wear your glasses for a change.
Glasses make us look smart, don't they?
I don't need glasses to make me look smart.
I can't see a damn thing out of mine. They're all. I wipe them on my.
Do I look smarter, everyone?
Hoodie. Oh, Katie was asking what my hoodie is earlier, so I just want to represent in case there's some fans in the house. A bit of gerbil dust underneath there. There we go. And I'll do a quick sort of roundabout. There we go.
Ah! Night man cometh.
Okay. Back to documentary. Back to Saturday night. Political corruption at the Palladium.
It was not made public during the trial that these shares had been made available through Isaac's brother at a favourable price.
The Attorney General.
The factual matters were at least partly resolved by a Parliamentary Select Committee investigation. All found that ministers had purchased shares in the American Marconi company, but while the Liberal members of the committee cleared the ministers of all blame, the other members reported that they had acted with grave impropriety. The committee was hopelessly split, with only the Tories facing the combined might of the Liberals, Nationalists and the newly formed Labour Party. As a
grave impropriety means they were doing dodgy shit. Essentially, that's what that means. They were basically using their public office for self-aggrandizement, essentially. Citation needed on my one there, but I suspect it was like that because politicians.
I think we can probably find you multiple numbers to go in the footnotes there, because I mean that's I mean we're about to go into the whole there were 2 reports produced after the inquiry, but the end of the story is reprised that we've got here is reprised at the end of those reports. People said it was very naughty. They shouldn't have done it, but they got off scot-free. And actually, it's a little bit worse than that.
It is, yes.
There you go. There's a few sort of. I wonder, can I find them to give an idea of the sort of the media around this? There were a few kind of. There were a few kind of rhymes and cartoons and stuff that were going out in the media. So I referenced one earlier. Lloyd George was buying up the Marconi things and also like London Docks shares.
I bet the satirists were having a field day.
So let's see if we can try. Here's one I read earlier. George moves in a mysterious way, his little sums to make, loose logic, lax arithmetic, contribute to the fake. There's this one's from Punch. More whitewash, said the Falk. Oh, actually, that's only going to work afterwards. Right, okay. There were 2 reports we're going to see. There was the minority Tory report, actually, which was a bit more harsh, was a bit more realistic. So, I mean, the Tories are actually the heroes in this.
You what? Ah!
Katie Marshall has now left the stream.
Tories? Heroes? Excuse me.
The other report was a Falconer report, which was known as the majority report.
Yeah.
It was essentially a big fat cover-up. So
yes.
the rhyme in Punch goes like this. More whitewash, said the Falconer, doing the party trick. Throw it about in bucketfuls, some of it's bound to stick. Very poor art, the public cried, you've laid it on too thick. There's also a piece by Rudyard Kipling
Oh my God.
on Rufus Isaacs. Again, it preempts a bit. Maybe I should have read these later, but Rufus Isaacs after hi Jacqueline. Yes, yes. We're on about our sixth scandal, and if you go over to my
Yeah, indeed.
channel at Andree, look, let me pin this because no, you can work it out. My name's on screen now. Go over to my YouTube channel. There's about 6 or 7 previous streams Katie and I have done together in the Victorian Villainy series. We've done like underwater ballrooms and
Peerage scandal.
We've done the Boris Johnson of World War One. All kinds of weird
Monty
stuff.
Gregory, Jabez Balfour. They've been amazing. I've loved them. It's been great.
We've done some really. I'm really proud of the stuff we've been doing here. It's really good.
It is. It's been great. I'm loving it.
More people are here tonight to see us. Rufus Isaacs, after getting this sort of telling off but exonerated, he actually got a promotion to as a Viceroy of India. So that's a reference in Kipling's first line on
Yay, colonialism.
Well done, Gehazi. Stretch forth thy ready hand. Thou barely scaped from judgment. Take oath to judge a land. Unswayed by gift of money, or privy bribe more base, of knowledge which is profit in any marketplace. Thank you, Kipling.
That's not bad, actually. Well done, Kipling.
Not bad.
You might have been an imperialist bastard, but
I like the punch one better, and the I don't know who wrote the first.
I do like the punch one better. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good too.
Yeah.
So yeah, this will get into the 2 reports. Is our kind of our last segment. Yeah.
Consequence, there were 2 reports. On the 30th of June 1913, the Select Committee provided their reports on the Marconi case. The report claimed that no minister had been influenced on the discharge of his public duties by an interest he might have had in any of the Marconi undertakings, or had utilised information coming to him from official sources for private investment and speculation. The minority report, penned by Lord Robert Cecil, has the following piece on the behaviour of the Attorney General, Rufus. By doing so, he placed himself, however unwittingly, in a position in which his private interest or sense of obligation had been in conflict with public duty. The report also censured Lloyd George and the Chief Whip Alexander Murray for the same reason. But politics, like time, is a relative concept, and the majority report, on the other hand, gave a very different conclusion to the behaviour of the 3 men as follows. All ministers concerned have acted throughout in the sincere belief that nothing in their action which would in any way conflict with their duty as ministers of the Crown. Even if the Marconi system was the best, why was it not put out to tender to show its superiority? The Liberal government was committed to free trade, and therefore this was not in keeping with its principles. The Marconi led many to draw unfavourable conclusions about corruption in British politics. It is believed that Lloyd George's role in the scandal brought it to press and public attention. The scandal centred mostly around 3 Liberal ministers who allegedly profited from an impending government tender. The armed services used radio extensively during the First World War. Marconi's wireless telegraph company supplied much of the equipment and was responsible for important technical developments. There was widespread fears of Marconi monopoly, and in 1919 the United States government forced the transfer of Marconi's US stock to the Radio Corporation of America, RCA. controlled by American shareholders. Marconi was also
Guess that,
excluded from
RC,
British
everyone.
government discussions of a revived imperial chain scheme in 1921. Take a moment to subscribe to our channel to keep future episodes and make any comments you may have or suggestions for future Vintage Scandals episodes.
So I'm going to put this in my chat. Katie, if you have a option to put that in your chat, please do. If you would go along to the source and just give them a like, or if you've got time tomorrow, give them a comment.
When I posted it to when I DM'd it to you, I said that I was borrowing it for our stream, and said, feel free to reach out to me if you want us to clip anything out or anything. I will promote your channel and things like that. And that I'd done that yesterday. They haven't got back to me. I don't know if they're busy or not. So I've already.
All right. We'll drop them a link in Discord. Actually, I can do that now. I will put it into the Histories channel. I'm just I as a creator for like 30 years in comics, videos, everything. I do like to, where it's not the BBC or somebody that can afford it. I do like to sort of, if I'm using a lot of their content, I do like to provide a link where other people can go in and say, yeah, I watched this and I enjoyed it. So on Numpty Woman's server, it should really be on my own as well.
The five main ones that I borrow from are Kev, Helena, My Left Eye, Turn Left, and Owen Jones. Every time that I use their videos for my stream to comment and give a Scottish flavour to it, basically how it's different or how it's the same for whatever legislation and stuff. I always post that I've borrowed it for my stream, and I've said, Kevin Helena have said, yes, have at. Because having a Scottish person saying how it's different up where you are is a good idea.
Yeah, so, it's kind of the academic in me and the Creative Commons advocate is just kind of really deep. Like I recently, I started doing screen cleaner. You just outright asked me, can I restream it? It hadn't really occurred to me that anybody would. I guess.
Oh no, credit where credit's credit's due.
But if
I borrow it, I always let you know.
It wasn't in my kind of verse, I've got a love-hate relationship with reactors. And I don't want to go into big detail here, but I think there's
it's a problem of being online, essentially, basically the streaming and content creation and things like that. You're going to get horrible people every now and again.
People who are doing political reactions are very different from people who are doing entertainment reactions. I think political reactions are far more valid. Entertainment is kind of like entertainment.
It's very subjective.
Yeah, some of it can be like ethical pornography. Some of it can just be using other people's creative property, editing that down for your own hits. But anyway, the Marconi scandal, it pretty much destroyed Britain's chance of becoming a world leader with radio.
With communication,
And it doesn't really get talked about. We've in past streams we have done a guy called Monty Gregory, who was Lloyd George's honors broker, And you can see like how Lloyd George and Alexander Murray were moving their money around, hoping to add the Liberal Party funds and personal finances. You can see that raise its head again with the whole Monty Gregory scandal. The footnotes for which Monty Gregory sold so many honours on behalf of Lloyd George, they had to invent a new honour, and that was called the OBE.
Yeah.
That is the origins of that. They had to invent a new law because he sold so many honours, and that was the 1925 Prevention of the Sale of Honours Act. And since that went in, only one person has ever been convicted under that law, and that person was Monty Gregory. Yeah, so there's traces in the Marconi scandal of that sort of not good ethical practice that would raise its head later again in Lloyd George's career. I'm not making a very good case for thinking Lloyd George had a lot of positive attributes at all, am I?
Did any of them? Oh.
Okay, Jacqueline's off to bed. Jacqueline, thanks so much for your input tonight. It's been really valuable. Have a good rest and restore.
Bye, darling.
I just remembered, while we still have 22 viewers, if you're a fan of Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I have a video going up tomorrow midday. So I used to run a series, or it's on respite at the moment, called 200 Seconds Sunny, where I would review an episode of Always Sunny in 200 seconds, and I do a longer cut for my paid patron subscribers. I'm releasing the longer cut for series 6 tomorrow with all the episodes. So it's like it'll be over an hour. So that's going up at midday tomorrow. My Patreon on Wednesday night, I do a paid Patreon member only live stream on an episode of Stephen Moffat's Press Gang, which I make video essays about. There was a brilliant one went up last week. It was 2 hours long. It took me months to make. Thanks, Katie, for showing up for that and sticking out the whole 2 hours. Very much appreciated.
You're welcome.
And as I say,
showing appreciation to your work
next Saturday. If you missed it last time, there were, I think, 7 episodes. I worked really hard on it. I'm not planning on working quite as hard this time, but it is going to be better. It's going to be more entertaining. And so that'll be on. I'm thinking, I really like the idea of scheduling it to go out at the same time as Phil Moorhouse, A Different Bias, and just trying to poach his audience or giving people that wouldn't go there an alternative.
If you manage to rescue people from Phil Moorhouse, carry on.
But we'll see. I mean, Helena's been streaming tonight. Just stream on Saturday.
He didn't. I think I DM'd you. Kev didn't go live tonight for reasons.
I hope he's okay.
He'll be fine. He'll just be knackered, I think. I don't know if Birmingham City were playing today or not. So depending on how Birmingham City done in the old football, or he might just be drunk. And Moorhouse is still did Omaha. He is. Sorry,
we've been on for 2 hours, 50 minutes. Yeah. Did you ever watch my pantomime?
I didn't. It's on your channel.
Yeah. I wonder, should we stream that for kicks? Because I used a bit of film.
How are you doing
in it?
How are you doing? Do you want to do it just now?
We could do it just now as a sort of and kind of unwind just run it without commentary and sort of, yeah, I'll set that up. I'll go for a smoke and then I'll enjoy all the comments coming through. Let's see.
Cool. Yay.
And you can if you need to go and use a loo or have a stretch, and I can wait till you come back as well if you want for me to run that when you get back.
Cool. Give me a minute. I need to. I've got my footrest up. Give me a second. I'll be back momentarily, comrades. Give me a second. Wrong one.
Oh,
I've got the
I
wrong.
know.
I've got the wrong feet. Where is it? No, not there.
So, if
2 minutes, everyone. I will be back.
If you would like to give some sympathy, this is my YouTube channel with the distinctive bananas on head. There's the live stream. There's one person watching, but also 21 of you here. There's some stuff. Yeah. So if I go into, I also do a series on Sunday mornings. It's taking a skip week called Sunday Comics, where I review mostly underground and independent British comic books. We've also got other Victorian Villainy pieces that Katie and I have done. Only 3. Oh, I must have another one that's kind of maybe not been published. At least another one. Screen Cleaner, the magazine show I've been pitching so much. So yeah, I've been doing some really good work. We've been looking primarily at the media, so we've been looking at things that other people don't cover. Thank you, Omaha, for subscribing. Yes, do hit the like button. So while Kevin, Helena, Katie are all really good at going in and examining the sort of the content, doing the content analysis on the media, the agenda, I'm really interested in looking at the people behind the scenes that construct the programs that we see that don't get the credit and don't get the scrutiny. So I'm talking about mainly producers, executive producers. For example, on Question Time, people like Daniel Maxwell, Nikolai Genchev, who are the executive producers. And we've picked up some really interesting patterns. Like a lot of producers are actually junior, have maybe graduated within about 5 years and are landing on like really big shows like Question Time. I mean, Question Time's producers are under 30s. Not a bad thing per se, but I just think it's worth pointing out. So yeah, we did an e-petition special last year. We did lots of different things. Yeah, media sort of analysis and piece on Paul Holmes' book. Go and give one a try. Find it for yourself. So this one's a bit different. This is in my ex-life as a comic book, as a cartoonist, I tapped into 4-page comics that doubled as Christmas cards, and the central narrative was one of Panto, which only British people are going to get. I've just, non-Brits in the audience just can sort of get really confused at what you're about to watch. In fact, everybody can get confused. So I thought I'd try and make a pantomime. in a video sense. So yeah, welcome to the weird mind. This is for about 10 minutes.
Do you like panto? My name's Phil, and I like talking a load of bollocks. Now, I used to be a school geography teacher, so I keep my eyes on events for the little ones. This includes those in many of our racist coastal towns, where the distinctly British pantomimers. So, without further ado, oh, wait a minute, Phil. You should probably explain the pantos are adaptations of folk plays with celebrities and audience interactions, and they're not only in racist areas. Don't interrupt me, Graham. I know what they are. Maybe for our overseas viewers you could explain or provide a citation. Maybe you should go back to your cupboard under the stairs. I'm telling this story, and that's the way it is, because that's the truth of what's happened. God's honest whole truth and nothing but. Now, one day Zach Golden Boy was foraging about in the woods, because he's a green, you see, and that's what they do. Anyway, that doesn't matter. He found it wasn't his and decided to claim it under squatters' rights, which hasn't been a thing since the 12th century. Actually, I think you'll find, Graham, do you want sandwiches or no sandwiches? Right. Zach Golden Boy found himself in the kitchen and helped himself to members' rate porridge, thus destabilizing European porridge markets. Phil, I don't think that's true. We're outside the EU, so I'm telling you, if you just listen. So then Zach got into a chair, but that wasn't right either, so he went to the bedroom. 5 minutes later, the front opened, and in walked the house's proper owners, because this was the house of the three fascists. There was Daddy Zia Yusuf, not Farage fascist. No, Graham. He wanted to. He applied for the role of Goldilocks because he loves being the centre of attention. But Nigel has already been in the panto 38 times. They turned him down, and he told everyone it wasn't worth his time. So there was mummy fascist Keir Starmer, who looked all around the kitchen and saw the opened box of porridge and tapped on his earpod and asked Morgan McSweeney what the correct reaction should be. And there was little baby fascist Kemi Badnock, who tugged Zia Yusuf's arm and asked what they should do. It was the blacks, said Zia Daddy Fascist. Yes, that's right, and anti-Semitic Martian racist blacks like your party, said Keir Mummy Fascist. And then Mummy Fascist got an electroshock in the lobe from mentioning Corbyn's name. Something, yada, yada, said Baby Fascist, but no one cared to listen, because she was a nasty little... Then, Speaker Lizzie Hoyle entered.
If people want to audition for a pantomime, I suggest you go to the Old Vic.
Speaker Hoyle said that the fascist had no business being in the House because he wasn't a democratically elected member of Parliament. He's behind you, yelled Baby Fascist. Mummy Fascist picked up the kettle and waved it at the Speaker, who fled because the Speaker is allergic to kettles. Now, to get to the bottom of this porridge loss, which was obviously caused by Baby Fascist in tandem with immigrants, the three fascists entered the committee room and sat down on their chairs. As you recall, Zach Goldenboy had sat on them, but it would be wholly unconvincing if anyone had noticed. You'd have to be some kind of butt to... An immigrant sat on this chair. It's giving me piles, said Daddy Fascist. This chair has obviously been sat on by another chair, a chair which is a proscribed terrorist organisation, said Mummy Fascist. And Baby Fascist said, I don't really serve any narrative story structure. I'm the same as these two, a stock character, but I do have big teeth. Let's make this Red Riding Hood instead. Yes, I'll be red because I care about the working people, said Mummy Fascist, who'd already forgotten about the porridge. Daddy Fascist shook his head angrily. and said, "We're so very quick to condemn Putin, who's done a lot of good things for us, like free selection boxes for patriots." "Morgan says we should go through to the bedroom," said Mummy Fascist. Daddy Fascist agreed. "I've been masturbating vigorously, and I'm quite tired. I could sleep." And Baby Fascist said, "It's not the Hilton. Can we put this on expenses?" And Morgan McSweeney said, "Don't put it on expenses, Keith, and don't get caught." Daddy Fascist pulled back the covers of his bed and gasped. "Someone's pooped in your bed," said Mummy Fascist. Someone had also pooped in Mummy Fascist's bed. "Someone's in my bed," said Baby Fascist. "Immigrants." But at that moment they were all keeping stump from having pooped in it. Suddenly there was a noise outside. Workmen with a washing machine. "That one's Chinese," Gallagher. They rushed downstairs to find Zach Golden Boy waiting for them. "The first thing we need to do is toilet train you," said Zach. "Fuck all that, you Sassenachs," boomed a voice from above. Stephen Flynn jumped from the rafters and delivered a roundhouse kick, tearing Baby Fascist's head clean off her body. "Yippee-ki-yay, mofos!" he yelled. Baby Fascist picked up Baby Fascist's head and wore it like a mask. "Now I am both fascists. I is doing Tory face. It is my dream come true." "Well, it is recycling, but it doesn't go far enough," said Zach Golden Boy. Mummy Fascist ran at him, and Zach put his foot out. Kate Fascist tripped and flew out the door into a wood chipper and got shredded. His screams of pain created sensory feedback to his man in Downing Street, Morgan McSweeney, who suffered internal bleeding in his rectum. Zia Yusuf Fascist picked up Keir Starmer's mangled face and put it on his. "Now I have 3 faces." "Nah," said Stephen Flynn. "Starmer was two-faced." Daddy Fascist did the mouths. "Now I have 666 faces, and I'm perfectly able to stop the quadrillion, billion, gazillion refugees that are coming." "I don't think so," said Golden Boy. "Yeah, get to fuck," said Flynn, without using the letter C in the spelling. They stamped up and down on the beast repeatedly until he was as flat as a flag, and hoisted him up to the top of the cottage as a warning to the next gammon prat that if they tried to see him, they'd be knocked out. The end. You've been watching the last screenplay of the series. That reception has...
Andy, that was fucking awesome. Round of applause for Andy, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well done.
I don't know if we'll see anything as batshit next week, but I'll certainly try.
How long did that little segment take you?
That took me at least a day to put together that. But yeah. Whoa.
Thank you for using Stephen Flynn Thank you for using Stephen Flynn, by the way.
Oh, Flynn's it's magic, isn't he?
Yes, indeed. Praise be Stephen Flynn.
Oh.
His majority isn't that great, but he should be able to keep a seat at the next general election, I would hope.
So I think most people here tonight are here from your stream and certainly know of it.
Yeah,
but if there's anybody watching me on YouTube or on Facebook, do you want to give a little or a long shout out about your stuff? Who you are, what you do, how often you do it? And I'll be monitoring.
Hello everyone on Facebook, on Andy's Facebook and YouTube. I'm Katie Marshall 4340 on YouTube, or Madcat79 Scotty I on Twitch. I'm a Scottish disabled Marxist streamer. I talk about politics, health and disability issues, and some history as well. and mythology. That is my side tangent. I am a Hellenist. I'm a nerd. And I'll be expanding a little bit in looking at media, essentially, superheroes mostly, and some movies and some television programs as well, and how it intersects with how we live and what the country's like. I've got lots of little side tangents that I want to include into my streams. So watch this space.
I'm going to do a screen cleaner, I think either next week or in 3 weeks, with a Scottish focus. So I'd really like to get you on to talk about, is the Sunday show? It's called?
Yes, it's the Sunday show. It's on for half an hour on Sunday mornings at 10 o'clock after award-winning journalism.
With
so I use the Sunday show as a sort of semi-cleanse. Essentially, we're a little bit more polite up here. If we get angry, you'll find out, obviously. We do get angry. We are Scottish. So
give us a wee bit of spoiler now, because outside Scotland, I've never seen the Sunday show, and I will be watching it, but what sort of format is it?
It's basically half an hour. They usually have at least one, possibly two politicians, either MPs or MSPs or councillors on, and they sometimes have experts in different sort of areas, be it health, medicine, social policy, housing, things of that nature. Sometimes some business people as well. So you've got at least one politician. Hopefully not Anna Sauer or Wendy. You'll see Wendy Alexander on award-winning journalism, and you'll have like either Anna's or maybe like a Lib Dem, Alex Cole-Hamilton, or Jamie Green, or someone like that from the Lib Dems. Maybe an SNP, MSP. Oddly enough, my MSP, who I'm not going to be having anymore because they've split my constituency in half, it's now Easterhouse and Springburn that I live in. But it used to be Springburn and Maryhill. So the Maryhill and Kelvin side has been lopped off. That's to the west of me in that direction. So that's where my current MSP, Bob Doris, is moving to. And that's the area he'll be defending. And I'm getting a new MSP, essentially. I don't know who's going to be voting. I don't know who's going to be voting
on our Sunday show. Katie does do reactions to that. We'll give it a pause, and a watch with a content analysis on it. So I'd like you to do a bit of that for a section of Screen Clear, and I will go and do some research on behind the scenes, who's involved with setting the agenda on that, look into their backgrounds, and we'll put.
Well, it's BBC Scotland, so the BBC, the main BBC headquarters down in England, usually dictate what kind of happens.
A lot of it.
We do have some autonomy, but not that much.
What I've noticed about like the Scottish referendum, independence referendum coverage, and debate night, isn't it? The Scottish question time. A lot of them are run. There's two executive producers I referenced earlier in the stream, Nikolai Gentchev and Daniel Maxwell, and they've both been attached to BBC Scotland for about 20-25 years, pushing an anti-Scots pro-unionist agenda.
It's been like that
Scottish, but traders, it seems.
It's been like that for a while.
I wouldn't be surprised if they are associated with the Sunday show at a production level, executive production level. So yes, more filth to be washed in public. I want to mention, actually, while we're still kind of talking about Screen Cleaner, you can watch out my channel at Andree Look on YouTube. And if you are watching this and you're a content creator yourself, or you would like to be, you'd like to dip your toes in the water, give it a go for about 4 or 5 minutes, go and watch a couple of screen cleaners. I have featured guests doing 4 or 5 minute inserts. So go and have a look at those and see if you'd fancy joining the sort of the roster. If you have an area of passion that you're talking about, people have asked me to commission them to do certain jobs, but and I can do that like I've done with you tonight, but I'm much happier people talking about their areas of passion. So if you see a way through, you'd like to work with me on that, you can drop me a DM. I'm on Katie's server. Hopefully my contact details are on my YouTube. I'm also on Helena's server and Kevin's server. So yeah, find a way through.
So
Ideas
that's
remain in motion.
so for fucking pop-ups, go away.
I think I'm Andy Luke on the various Discords.
Yes. So for their Discords, for Kev, it's called the Kevolution. I can post that. I'll post the links in a minute. And for Helena, it's called the Judiciary, because no justice. I quite like the Kevolution. Is amazing. It's always active. There's always people there speaking, always talking. I talk about different things in the different channels. Kev's Discord is very involved. There's lots of us in the Discord there for Kev. And the Judiciary, the one for Helena, for No Justice, is a little bit shorter. And it's still active in the main channels, essentially. So that's the UK-based, US-based, and world-based. And the canvassing channel is always active. It's going to be getting more active because voting happening soon. So I will post those links later on. I'll be carrying on after me and Andy finish up. I'll be going for another hour or so. I'll just go and check some stuff out and react to it. So that'll be cool. So yeah, I'll post the links to the Judiciary and the Kevolution and to your one as well as Andy patrons or that one.
Yeah, by all means. So my Discord it's kind of very much a slow boil sort of thing. There's not a lot on it. I'm not concerned a lot on it, but I'm very happy for people I trust to be on there. It's a work in progress very much. Yeah.
So is mine.
Don't fight. Don't fight.
As to say, between myself and the lovely Cranky Pants, we are getting my Discord looking a little bit more. It won't be completely professional, obviously, no funding, just me and Shanna making it look better and stuff. So my Discord will be getting a little bit better. I'll be putting in a canvassing channel and a mutual aid one on as well for everyone. So the canvassing one will be getting very busy. Mr. The Brazen, if you're here, feel free to help me out with that one for the canvassing channel for the Discord, if you're here.
You can subscribe to my Patreon for £1 and like 40p tax a month, and that gets you everything. If you subscribe for £1, you get the same as you get for like £20, and that's advanced access to about 8 videos a month. And at the moment, just for a short while, Patreon exclusive live streams on Press Gang. And with Katie's, you can subscribe on Twitch for $4.99 a month, or use those Jeff Bezos Amazon Prime subscriptions and throw some moolah her way, straight from Jeff's greasy pockets.
He doesn't need the money. I do.
Doesn't.
He doesn't. Trust me, he doesn't need the money. Chill away. Thank you, Divinity, my dear. Yes, Jeff Bezos doesn't need the money. I need it more than he does. He's got enough already. Yeah. I have to be careful because Amazon actually owns Twitch. They're the overall controller. They do have someone in charge, but he's basically a puppet. I can't remember if it's Clancy anymore. I don't know if they've been Clancy or not. So the one that is actually nominally in charge of Twitch was an actor. And now he's basically in charge of Discord, not Discord, Twitch. But it's still owned by Amazon Web Services. I don't know. I don't like it, don't get me wrong, but that's where I earn all my money. I'm not monetized on YouTube yet. That's going to be a long slog.
Yeah,
Look
I
out for
recently
in the year
started
2040,
looking
I might get monetized.
It's like, so, I mean, I've been on YouTube, well, maybe 18 months. I'm publishing twice a week, short form, then a long form, working really hard at it. And I've now started running shorts 5 to 7 days a week.
I haven't started doing shorts yet.
In one day. And it's just the bar for monetization on YouTube is so high. And from everything
it's ridiculously high.
Ridiculously high. And from everything I've seen, even when you do get monetized, you're not getting an awful lot of money. You do need to be at that kind of superstar level. I mean, I'm sure Helena and Kevin are doing fine, but
Helena earns more from her YouTube than Kev. Kev does get some AdSense and stuff back to him and stuff. Helena earns a I would say a decent amount, essentially, not a good amount or an excellent amount from her YouTube, from her videos and stuff. Bigger community, more subscribers on our YouTube, and more members who pay the 99 pence each month. So Helena earns more on YouTube than she does on Twitch. Kev's like me, he earns more on Twitch than he does on YouTube.
I think that's great. Both Kev and Helena are in a position to undo 99p memberships. I think that point.
They deliberately set it at the lowest possible that they could, so they could get. Leftists are chronically skint. You should know.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not loaded myself, or I'm barely making a living wage, but I do have petty cash, and I will go in, like many of the great people in those communities, and I will go and like gift 5 or 10 memberships every so often, because we can. And I think that's great, that communal paying it forward. And I know that if a month comes up where I just can't afford a membership, there's a good chance somebody will gift me one.
It's 33 Divinia.
So, I mean, that's something with Patreon, I think you need to have like is it over 200 or over 300 pounds a month before you can offer yearly subscriptions. And this is something I want to do. I want to be able to offer £12 for a yearly subscription. So people don't have to. So at the moment it's set to £1 a month, but people have to pay 40p extra on tax on that. So I just want to be able to say, right, you pay £12, you pay your £12 40p, and that's you for a year. You don't have to worry about it for you. I want to be able to offer that, but I need another 100 quid at least. It's quite dispiriting because I've kind of been on. We're coming up in 6 weeks. Actually, we're coming up to my 9th year on Patreon. I've been really fortunate in that I've had, because I had this whole other semi-career as a cartoonist way before that, and as a novelist. So I had fans. I brought with me a small loyal group. So I've been kind of consistent. I've had kind of $60 to $100 for most of those 9 years. Occasionally a bit more, occasionally a bit less. But yeah, pretty much in that spectrum. I would really, really could use that other $100 to just bump it up a bit. It is a bit frustrating that it hasn't really grown. I don't want to people have been good with me, but I would like more people.
I'll promote you as much as I can, obviously, because you're brilliant. The videos you do in your channel is great. I want more people to come over to your community, obviously. I want more people to come over to my community as well. So mutual benefit for both of us, essentially.
Yeah. Oh, and
you could do with it.
I've plugged this before, but with a few extras still that haven't gone away through all the plugging that's gone on. But I have my Patreon set to charge on the 1st of the month only. There's still a few of us that are in a position to do that before the law changes. So although it's not the best time to
it changes on Wednesday, by the way. It changes on the 1st of April. So it changes on Wednesday.
The payment structure?
Yeah, it changes on Wednesday.
Oh, bugger.
That's why I was waiting to do my podcast through Patreon until April actually kicked in.
Oh.
So I'll be creating what I'm going to be talking about and trying to invite different people onto my podcast.
Well, if you want to check out my Patreon for free, you can subscribe now and unsubscribe within the next 48 hours.
The payment structure for Patreon is changing, Omaha. So if you're if you're a patron for a content creator, it'll be changing over on Wednesday, and it's changing. It used to come off whenever you subscribe, be it whatever part of the month, but it's changing over to the 1st of the month on Wednesday, which is the 1st of April, and from then on. Always on the 1st, you'll be paying your Patreon for whatever content creators you're paying for, essentially through Patreon. So from Wednesday, the 1st of April, it'll be moving over. It will just be like that the minute it clicks over into the 1st of April.
Worth pointing out or reminding people.
I should have actually posted that in my Discord. Oops.
Worth pointing out or reminding people, because I imagine most people here do use Patreon to support creators.
Like I said, I've got
please don't pay through Patreon using Apple, an Apple linked card. What happens is that it's still an issue with Apple that 33% of payments through Patreon.
You're welcome, Omaha.
Do not reach the creators because Apple subtract. So at the moment, there's still a lot of patrons. Kevin is one of them. Myself is another. Possibly Helena, who for every £1 that you put through Patreon, we get to keep 9p of it. That's really great. That's the sort of support we need. But if you pay through Apple, that's what 63p we get. So it's a considerable bite.
Yeah, it's a considerable drop. Yes.
So
if you can pay through a browser, a browser or a laptop or a computer, even if you have to go to an internet cafe to pay it through like a browser instead of using an iPhone or an Apple account, you will be scalped because Apple are money grabbing. I'm going to turn this sticker tape off because it looks like I've been staring at it for a while now. It looks like closing credits. I mean, I probably am off to bed soon, but it's like it's a bit funereal. Yeah.
Speaking of which, tonight's mascot is a baby with cigarette pacifier. There we go. Like, who's supposed to take that seriously as a warning? That's a figure of fun, that child.
That's what the government mandates, so I don't know. They have to put these warnings on.
Well, kids, you got to grow up fast because every year they make it more and more difficult for you to smoke, which is actually probably good. Every time I'm out and there's a youngster looking at me and I'm smoking a cigarette, I am trying to send them a message. I'm trying to sort of read my eyes. Don't smoke. Don't start. This is not as cool as I make it look.
No.
Yeah. So by now we usually have talked about what we're doing next week. Do we want to just play it by ear during the week? Have you any ideas? I mean, I think from my perspective, the next 2 or 3 weeks. So up for next week, the second week, I'm going to take a skip week. And then the third week, I would probably like a bit easier, or maybe next week a bit easier.
Well, I'll be free. I'll be free next weekend. I'll be free next Saturday. I'll get back to you. I'd want to do some sort of media analysis if you want.
Oh, that would be interesting. I wonder, is there any kind of historic media? Can we mix the two ideas? So sorry, that's an Always Sunny kind of thing.
We could maybe I can do some research during the week, and we can look at the start of media, like standard media, like newspapers and things like that, and we can look at how they've shaped the political narrative, if you wish. That might be quite a good thing.
If anybody in chat has an idea that they'd like Katie and I to cover, please put it in. We normally do Victorian villainy, so political corruption from around the 1900s or 1890s, or it's more Victorian Edwardian. There's we're a bit fast and loose with time, like been doing 1920s stuff and 1940s. And, I've got some notes.
So tonight
and the Shanna crisis.
Tonight's one might have been described as more Edwardian villainy or Edwardian corruption, if you wish. COPD is coming for you.
What's COPD?
Did you, darling? I'm not quite there yet. You have to remember, every now and again, I do buy myself either some tobacco or a 20 deck because naughty. I still use this.
Rolling tobacco is so expensive nowadays. I mean,
it is.
But when I just don't have enough money, to get me to the next payday, I've started buying 20 packs because 30 grams is about 25 or 26 quid, and the cheapest pre-rolled is about 12 or 13 quid. So
yeah,
so I mean, these pre-rolled are much worse for you regarding chemicals and stuff. Rolling tobacco is a healthy alternative. I'll get my coat.
It took you 10.5 years to quit. My God. I've been trying to quit for the last 18. I'm failing miserably, obviously. 4 false starts. I'm up to 7 false starts, my dear.
The reasons I have to take a skip week, actually, as well as doing screen cleaner, of a couple of other projects on that. So I do, as you know, I do a regular Discworld podcast called I've Never Read Discworld. So in a couple of weeks we have the next episode due. I'm only halfway through reading Monstrous Regiment for the first time, which is a wonderful slow boil story of trans narratives and life in the army, which I'm really taken with, but I'm finding it hard going at the same time. So I'm only halfway through reading that. I've got to finish that. I'm doing my Sunday comics feature, and at the moment I'm reading the graphic novel adaptation of Robert Tressel's The Ragged Trousered Philanthropists, which is a wonderful story of working class painters in the 1910s. It's kind of proper like sociological fiction, very sort of Marxist in tone. It's really good, but again, it's a big 350-page tome, and I'm maybe not even halfway through reading that. And I'm also doing a research intensive live show with David McGuinness of the Two Davies. So that is going out on the anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement, which is the 9th of April. And it is the case for an independent Northern Ireland. So it's not going to be a debate. We're both deep in research, and we're going to come back and discuss it. We're going to pull our resources, share what we think. It's not a United Ireland thing. There's plenty of people talking about that. You can go and find that conversation. We want to look and see, is it economically feasible? Is it culturally feasible? Is an independent Northern Ireland a feasible halfway point to a united Ireland, which we all know, even those of us who don't like the idea, it's inevitable. It really is inevitable. But
yes.
independent Northern Ireland keeps those troublesome elements who don't want a united Ireland on side. In fact, the idea of much of the discussion historically on an independent Northern Ireland came from unionist circles, and it is supported by a number of nationalists. So I think there's a lot to be said. And the media hasn't really been honest with us in the past about how feasible it is. Scotland knows that better than anybody, and it has come out these last couple of decades how feasible an independent Scotland actually is. Is Northern Ireland in the same category? Northern Ireland gives Scotland a run for her money, can match it in a few places. So maybe it is. I haven't made up my mind yet. I'd love it to be so. But I'll be looking into it and seeing if that is plausible. With David McGuinness.
I await. It will be
No,
good.
excited. This is going to be great. So yeah, busy couple of weeks.
Yes. If you want to skip next week, I have no problem with that. You seem to have a lot on your plate.
It'll probably be the week after. I probably skip. But if we could have like a couple of light weeks, maybe a light Victorian Villainy type, and then we did a great stream about nothing a couple of weeks ago. Now we had some great content. You're going to find this on my YouTube channel. We got into the whole untold story of Doctor Who in Northern Ireland, which was really, really entertaining.
It was. I enjoyed that. It was good.
So maybe we can, do something a bit lighter.
It's Villainy, unfortunately.
Thankfully, YouTube copyright restrictions mean we can't string Torchwood and slag it off, because that's just too traumatic an experience. Sorry, Torchwood fans, but I find you guilty.
I did kind of like it, but I don't think I need to see it again. I've got a couple of Torchwood books. Where are they? There, I can see them. They're just over there behind me a bit on the bookshelf over there. I did watch all of Torchwood, obviously, but not really that memorable. Sorry, John Barrowman. Alex, 2 missing episodes. Yes, I noticed that, my dear. Well done. Thank you, BBC, I guess.
Yeah, Divinia, right. I think Northern Ireland is largely forgotten about over here in the mainland. Yeah. I was really made aware of that in 2016 when the DUP went into coalition with the Tories. And the media narrative was, well, who are the DUP? Yeah. Nobody really knows. And we've kind of been, I'm 52 now and I've been living with the DUP for that long. They are the Tory party has no foothold here. It's it's known behind the scenes as the Conservative and Unionist Party. Is a Conservative Party. It's a short for it.
Yeah.
CUNT. No, because no, it doesn't make. Well, yeah, we know what they are. Not very nice people.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can maybe do something a bit light. Suggestions. We are fan service people.
Do you mind if I nick something from that panto you just shown? I want to nick that moniker for her, baby fascist.
You want to nick what?
I want to nick that baby fascist for Badger Bobs. That is actually quite fitting.
Do you want to cut the video cut down? Or a bit,
no. Your panto. I want to nick baby fascist for Kemi.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If you need any sort of resources, Ryan, I can cut down. Like just hit me up over Discord. I can send
Thank you very much. I will do.
I still have all the raw files. Video editing's really, I enjoy it. I've really found my voice as an editor or my specific skill set. But I was talking to Kevin about this a couple of weeks ago when I interviewed him. Context, because Screen Cleaner was so labor intensive when I did the last set of 7, I've been storing up stuff so I'm not like bleeding my fingers week to week. And I'm trying to build up actually, and this is where our audience is still here can help.
Thank you, Sonia.
So I'm putting together a sort of filler episode, which will be less labor intensive on me, about YouTube streamers and producers and how they put their content together and why they do it. And I'm just looking for, I need one more person to interview for about 5 to 10 minutes to sort of make it a fully rounded show. So if you'd like some free publicity, please do DM me or like mention chat now, and we'll follow up on it later.
You need to speak to Helena. I'll see if I can. I
asked Helena if I could drop her a line. I've pitched to her. You know, Helena, she's like Batman or Superman now. But Kevin said he might mention it to anybody else who wants to mention to Helena. Get back down to Luke. 5 to 10 minutes, Helena. That's all it'll take. Yes, I would be honoured by having somebody of Helena's stature. So yeah.
Helena of her awesomeness. Everyone go and follow Helena.
No justice.
She'd be awesome.
A few shout outs then. Katie shared a piece by Maximilian Robespierre last night when I was chatting with her. Check out Max's channel. He's really good on Northern Irish issues for a man that lives in Italy.
Yes.
He's really clued in. He's certainly the best YouTuber I've seen and one of the best journalists on Northern Ireland matters.
And Andy, where's Max from?
He's from the south of Ireland. I'm not sure if it's Dublin or Cork, but he emigrated to Italy a few years ago.
Did he? All right.
Daily Blase is also good at, particularly his weekly pre-recorded stuff. It's about 6 or 7 minutes long. He did really well last year in concentrating on select committee stuff, which doesn't get reported so much.
It doesn't actually, yeah.
Avoid a different bias.
I need to cover the select committees more, I think.
Yeah, a lot of material there.
There is, yes.
Turn left. Our friend Colonel Demo.
Colonel Demo, yes.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. He really comes in with the goods. Yeah.
Damo's brilliant. Praise be Damo. He sometimes appears on Turn Left as well. I'd love you to. Who would be best for you to talk to? Cog, maybe, or Curtis?
I think I've dropped
You and Cog.
Who?
You and Cog would actually be quite good to talk to each other. So I'll see if I can encourage. That's Ben McLean, by the way. So he used to be called Antifa Cog. I think he's still that on TikTok. So that's Ben McLean, who's on Turn Left, and we've also got Curtis Daly, also Turn Left.
Yeah, actually, I'm still just getting used to Turn Left and My Left Eye as well. Actually, is somebody I should really.
Praise be Lefty, Base Mancunian. Everyone, go and follow go and follow My Left Eye.
I'd love to have any of
Lefty is amazing.
contributing to either the YouTube special or as an insert doing regular, semi-regular pieces. That would be great. Yeah, I thought you guys were ending stream 30 minutes ago. We usually do. I think we're a bit more energetic tonight, but probably.
Andy, can you help me a second? I'd love to get Bryce on my election mega stream.
Okay.
If you can talk to Bryce about that. So obviously he knows when the vote is. If I could cajole him in to join me on the stream, I'd love to have him on it to discuss
ask him. Can I also pitch getting Lewis Galt on?
All right, yeah.
He does some serious volunteer work, the SNP. So yeah, Lewis would be really interesting. He would be your Kevin equivalent of humor. Now I asked him, he's done a bit for me as well. He was very well.
Has he? Cool.
Lewis appeared in the audience of Debate Night, Scotland's Question Time, a few weeks ago, asking about an independent Scotland, which I think is usually frowned upon. It
usually is, yes.
Scotland.
Shut up, you colonial scumfuck. Essentially, yeah, we get treated like we're scum.
Let's just come right
it's
out.
Fun.
They couldn't censor him.
No. We're here for Scottish independence. Just give us our due, thank you very much. It would be nice instead of you reviling us and treating us like we're scum. It's not nice. There's a good proportion. There's nearly 50% of us here in Scotland who want an independent Scotland, and you're treating us like we're either clueless, idiotic, or actual wreckers. Thanks. That was the Tory party, by the way.
Somebody posted a while ago that it's British summertime. We've actually gone forward an hour. We've time travel.
It has, yes. We've moved forward an hour. Yes, it's 2:45 now instead of 2:45. Oh, God.
Oh, God.
See, look. My digital clock is still got on 2:45, but on my laptop and on my phone, and probably on the telly, it is 2:45. Give me a minute.
We did take our tablets at the start of the stream. You can watch back on that. Yeah, actually, I should probably go fairly soon. I've got gerbils that need to be put to bed. I mean, they won't mind a time jump. They'll probably see. So I've got 12 gerbils. 12 gerbils in 5 or 6 different tanks. You can find gerbil videos on my YouTube stream. But I come down in the morning and they're asleep. And I come down in the afternoon. They sleep to about 4 or 5 in the afternoon. I'm convinced I'll go down and turn out the lights usually about midnight. Say goodnight to them, blow them all kisses. I'm convinced that they set up cavorting, drinking, having lesbian orgies, playing sports to 4 or 5 in the morning, and then just sleep all day through. I think that's what's going on. Davina, we live to entertain and keep you awake. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, thank you for joining us, extra people, tonight. I hope you come back next week. We're the perfect chaser. I mean, I'm the pound shop Kevin Logan. Dilly Blase with an S instead of a Z.
All right, with an S. Huh? Dilly Blase?
That's one. Yep.
I will go and check them out. I was going to carry on with my stream, but when we finish up here, I'll just finish up and read out, because I'm starting to my face is starting to go. I'm still awake. Don't worry. I'll be reading into someone. I will find out who is going live on Twitch. I still can't figure out how to read out on YouTube yet. I will get there. Trust me on that one.
Not me neither. If anybody wants to tell us how that's done, I probably can't do it from Restream.
Oh no, I do my readouts on my phone for Twitch. I still haven't figured out how to do it on my YouTube. So I'll need to get either Helena or Kev to help me with that one. I'll ask them tomorrow during their coverage of award-winning journalism.
I think I'll probably get my head down so I can check in on some of that. Do not go and do your raid as soon as I leave. Do not try and go on for another 20 minutes and fall asleep in your chair.
I won't. I'm not going to do that again. I can't. It's not good.
We need to.
It does my neck in anyway when I fall back like that. It does my neck in, and my shoulders get scubbed.
This is really infuriating because Davina's put a link in chat and just put a link earlier, and I went to click on it, and it just gives me the option to show it on screen, not to actually click on the link.
It's how to read out on YouTube. Thank you, Davinia, so much. That is lovely.
If it's handy,
if you can post that link in the Discord, I'd love that. If you can, thank you, my dear. Christina, my zone.
Okay. Yeah, we'll be back together next week for something or other. 200 plus seconds, Sunny, season 6, in 10 hours. No, 9 hours on YouTube at Andree Luke.
Cappy's going.
Come on, I'm starting to get Davina syndrome. Can I go?
I have found who we be reading.
Aha. Oh, okay. I might pop in and say hi after I put the gerbils to bed.
We are going over to Capricorn.
Capricorn, I know well. On Twitch.
On Twitch, yes.
So
sorry,
yes.
YouTube comrades.
I will put a link in for anybody that's watching me on
Bye,
YouTube.
Davinia. Bye, Omaha. Join me for award-winning journalism tomorrow after Kevin Helena, because obviously I have to respond to Zia Yusuf because reasons. Thank you, Davinia, my dear. This has been amazing. Thank you, Andy.
Yes. I will see you next time. Bye.
Good night, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Go see Capricorn if you're staying up. Otherwise, rest and restore. Sleep sweet dreams. Bye.